All
The
right.
link of what?
Oh, the link to the stream?
Yeah, link to the stream.
Well, I got it up right now. I mean, do you
Oh,
want
go
to?
ahead. Just share it to me on Twitter or something.
Okay, we're live. We're live. Okay. So this will be my second mainstream, like serious stream. This is going to be a stream on the Monster 3. And today, as of right now, we may have other people on later. We have Legendary Anime once more, Flying Panda. They were both in the last stream. But we also have Brago Diaz. All right, he's been in a few of my...
What's poppin'?
Yeah, he's been in a few of my non-serious streams. I've been in a lot of his streams before. So, if you haven't checked these guys out before, do that now. Okay, so... Oh, you're echoing. Hello?
Who was that? Who was echoing?
I don't know. All right, so the main topic...
Sorry.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right, so once more, the main topic is going to, of course, be like the power scaling and the sort of future abilities maybe, and maybe who's stronger than who maybe in the Monster Trio, because there are some good points to make as far as who's stronger than who. And we're just going to sort of discuss it, I guess. It's a very interesting topic because I see all the time people are comparing Luffy and Sanji, Luffy and Zoro, and it's going to hopefully kind of maybe raise some awareness, maybe give some ideas to some people who are interested in that topic, I guess. All right. So, would you guys like to say anything? Start off by giving any opening statements? Do you have any favorites?
No, basically, this is a good time to actually talk about this topic, actually, because the chapter was great. Come on, I'm sure all you guys agree the chapter was really great.
Oh, yeah, Sanji.
About the year of Sanji. Definitely. And from last week, we were talking about time skips and stuff like that. For once, maybe you don't need a time skip. Sanji might actually awaken his exoskeleton powers. And that's something we can actually see happening. Because his whole family has the exoskeleton. And I'm sure Sanji's not a normal human being. He'll definitely have the same kind of powers, but awaken more slowly. And this is something which is immense. The question is, if he has an exoskeleton, why does his bones break so easily? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's fully developed yet. I don't. Maybe he hasn't even unlocked it yet.
Yeah, he got his bone cracked by Virgo, and there was no signs of like an actual exoskeleton. So
Right.
yeah, there might
I don't
just
think
be
it's there yet.
might just be not developed. Because the thing is, the exoskeleton is just part of the several lineage factors that have been incorporated into his DNA. So it might just be like certain aspects have developed. A lot of people are saying Diable Jimbei could be like his elemental ability. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say as far as like hell memories and stuff, because he seems to just be able to generate it like on the fly, and I'm not sure if there's any sort of like real scientific means behind it. That's where it could be spiritual because it's based on his emotions, but it could just certainly be like something have to do with like his genetics maybe.
The exoskeleton seemed like it was it had to do with the manifestation of all of it. Where it's like once that's fully developed, then all your powers are kind of, I guess, developed as well. So because Sanji, I don't feel like his is developed as yet. So I don't feel like his powers are at its peak yet. So he has a lot of potential to grow in so many different areas, just based on what we got from this chapter.
Well, I'm pretty sure what the what was sort of said was that the exoskeleton is like the basis for your strength. It's almost like it's like Iron Body for CP9 basically, and all the other abilities you gain are like kind of a little bit separate from the exoskeleton, but the exoskeleton is like the backbone, literally the backbone of like your entire move set, I guess, because it adds that foundation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The exoskeleton definitely will be the backbone. The question is, what kind of animal or insect does Sanji have basically that will truly awaken? This could link even with Raiju, who has the so-called moth exoskeleton.
The goat.
Yeah, well, I think it was the butterfly, wasn't it?
The goat.
It was like the monarch butterfly, because the monarchs
of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would raise the question, like, does Sanji have... Because he bases his stuff off of the devil. Does he have, like, the devil's DNA? Like, what does that exactly mean? Some people have said that he has devil fruit DNA inside of him or something like that. Something really crazy. Because his whole swirly eyebrow. I don't know. That's something really far-fetched, though. But devil fruits are a form of fruit, so I don't know, man. It's really kind of hard to say exactly where Sanji could draw his devil powers and stuff like that. I don't know what animal.
Yeah, well,
could really
that could
generate
be a
fire.
manifestation of his, well, like Oda said, his spirit, and basically, um, everything that he went through with his family, that's kind of like the hell's memories and stuff like that. That's all coming to a head, and that could be an embodiment of it. You know,
Hmm.
that's where his powers come from. Because I personally, I don't think he's developed, um, his powers as
Yeah.
yet, like his siblings.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know is it
definitely
true or
feel
not
like
though, but the
I feel like in order for him to really surpass his family in a way, it should be done via Haki maybe, because in a way he's the most human out of all of them, and his training should be like human based, whereas the Vinsmokes are sort of like hybrids. They're not fully human, and in a way, if he's gonna stay the most human, then you should rely on Rokushiki and Haki, in my opinion. And he
I
doesn't,
mean, yeah,
because
but they
Haki,
said
yeah, Haki gives you that shell, like as they say, like Virgo, for example, he was like iron because of his Haki, or it could have been because of something else. But I feel like that's how he will match them.
But what if they can use hockey as well? The thing is, they said that everybody, um, it was successful for all of them, right? So it's just that Sanji's is developing a lot slower, and they grew a lot faster than him, so he just fell behind. So I mean, that just means that he's gonna grow eventually. Then when he comes into his own, and add that onto the new powers he has now, he's gonna be a lot stronger.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think.
interesting. Yeah, he did.
I
He
think
has
that I
the
assume like
powers.
everybody will get hockey as a basis kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But remember about 18 months ago, everybody was saying that Sanji should eat the Mirror Mirror no Mi because he's so crap, basically, he's so rubbish, and that rumors came about because of this exoskeleton, this potential awakening his powers, he might not need it no more. So this is where Sanji's true power might come this time. So I agree with the hockey, but I'm sure everybody would develop their own type of hockey.
Well, what about Rokushiki? Because he has like Skywalk, for example. He might have Iron Body. He may have like several other abilities that are pretty much very similar to the Vinsmoke abilities. And if he could just learn, Rokushiki like Luffy and potentially Zoro have, I feel like that could just sort of supplement the whole thing about like genetic modification. He did have the genes manipulated as a kid, but they still said that like he was the most human, and just for some reason his like body may have just rejected this sort of alterment, or this whole altering.
I don't know, was it he was the most human? I think it's more the fact is he, after all the experiments and modifications, he is still human, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's human.
He's
He's just
described as
after all the experiments, basically.
he's described as being just the most normal one, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could mean like, or do you mean like mentally maybe?
I think
You mean
more
like
like
mentally?
results, basically. It's like it's funny. It's like talking about Dragon Ball Z again, but then when they don't power up on time, they're just normal humans. But then when they power up, they become, true strength humans.
Hmm. Yeah, because
The thing is,
like even wait, hold on, your mic is echoing still.
no, sorry, man, it's terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't really doing that before though, which is weird. Are you watching the stream?
No, I'm not on the stream. This is just through Discord.
Oh, okay. So as I was saying, I don't know. It feels like since he has learned Rokushiki, which is a prime, like it's a human ability, right? It's something that you take your body to the extreme, and I feel like if he's amplifying these like human-like abilities, and he's not relying on the Vinsmoke attacks, which are all super, like they're like sort of hybrid abilities almost, like they're not even really human abilities because only the Vinsmokes and the genetically modified humans can use them. So I don't know. I feel like he will be a little bit more human, but you guys have anything else to say about Sanji, or should we move on to like somebody else?
Well, I was going to say, because you're talking about the animal side and everything, yeah, like the devil and everything. Well, in that cover page of what Oda did for the one, I can't remember what chapter it was, but anyway, basically they're animal spirits. Sanji's was a ram, yeah. Rams are actually generally used, or their skulls, should I say, was used in Satan's sacrifices and things like that. So, and the whole thing about goats and rams, obviously they're quite, they jump a lot and things like that, and their strength is in their legs and stuff. So I think that all relates to Sanji.
That would be interesting actually if he had like a ram ability, but I'm not sure like.
Well, the thing is, like in the recent chapter, in that picture when he describes about the gene lineage, I can't pronounce the word. Anyway, there's animals in their picture, so it might means that it's animal DNA incorporated in their own DNA. So what if Sanji actually got ram in his DNA?
I want to ask you guys this about Niji. With Niji using electric blue, do you guys think that Judge experimented on a mink and kind of implanted the electro from the minks into Niji?
No, it was probably from a Japanese hornet because they can use electricity, and his attack was named like Sting or something.
Right.
So I think it's
Henry something. Electromotive. Something.
Yeah, it was electromotive Sting, and so there's a Oriental hornet I think that can generate electricity. I'm not sure if it's through his stinger, but yeah, that would definitely fit with his whole genetic modification. He has an Oriental hornet DNA implemented into his DNA, I think.
But then in that picture though, don't you think, because it's got a fish in it, a wolf, and what looks like a dinosaur, maybe a dragon?
Yeah, dragon.
Possibly that's like hinting Fishman DNA, mink DNA, and possibly some other species.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure it's just animals though, because like, the butterfly, for example, that's an insect, and there's no real race in One Piece that is based off insects. So that's used for Reiju. So I think it's just animal DNA in general that is just put into them. It could just be overall genetic modification, like they're just switching out genes and stuff.
Yeah, the butterfly's probably a devil fruit, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's. I don't know if it's just limited to animals. Maybe some like traits of animals were implanted.
All right, but because this is the Monster Trio stream, we got to kind of move on to something a little bit away from Sanji and his family. What do you guys feel about Zoro? Do you think that like his fight against Pico really didn't even show any of his new powers? Do you feel like he has a lot more up his sleeve?
Of course it does. That was just a taste. That was just a taster, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoro probably has a lot more to show. Like we feel like his eye. There's more to that as well, and he hasn't really gone all out. A lot of people go back to his fight with Fujitora and saying that he actually overcame Fujitora's gravity. So as far as Zoro's strength, it's up in the air right now. What I'm interested in is how strong, how Zoro would fare against Luffy right now, as far as like Gear 4 is concerned. Because people are saying that Zoro's getting one-shotted by Luffy in Gear 4, and I definitely don't think that. But
yeah, he's got to have something that like matches Gear 4, or comes close at least. Yeah.
But where things stand now, it's true that Zoro is the only one after the 2-year time skip that hasn't actually used his true power. The only time he used his true power was when he actually used his swords to push back the birdcage. But where things stand now, regards to Zoro versus Gear 4, don't you guys think with his swords, and we've seen from Cracker who almost cut Luffy's arm, isn't that already shows that Zoro has the potential to actually defeat Luffy with his swords already?
He needs stronger Haki though. That's the thing. So
definitely.
But he does specialize in armament Haki, so
right.
That would of course give him an advantage, I guess. But in a way,
So it comes to this question then: who is stronger, Zoro or Cracker?
It's really hard to judge at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is kind of hard because we have to see like how Luffy could beat Cracker, if he did beat Cracker, and then how bad he beat Cracker, and then if Zoro is even close to Luffy. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's tough. As far as how strong Zoro is, and we don't even know how strong Cracker is right now, you know. And that fight is probably over with the whole fight with Cracker and Luffy as well. So it's if we see how Luffy beats him and how easy it is for Luffy, then maybe we can kind of judge and use that as a baseline to see how Zoro would do as well. Because I don't think Zoro is that far behind Luffy. It's still a gap.
Yeah, but I think Cracker is quite difficult to beat due to the fact that he's got like almost an ultimate defense. His Crackers this needs Gear 4 to break each time, and that's the problem with Luffy. He can't find the real body. Now he's seen the real body. Maybe there's potential for Luffy to find a way to beat him. Especially there's rumors that if you guys remember Lola's father always talking about that apple juice over there, that apple juice. Who knows? That apple juice could be the the thing that softens up Cracker for Luffy to win, because for no reason he keeps talking about, I want to drink that apple juice. I want to drink that apple juice. Maybe it might link somehow with the apple juice.
Oh, Water Luffy version 2, apple juice edition.
Yeah, they say once he drinks the apple juice, he's gonna go all out. Yeah. Cracker for
No, because that actually would be possible, because against Crocodile he did that Water Luffy thing where he drank all that water and he just spit it at Crocodile, and it let him get a huge jump on Crocodile. So maybe he could do that with Cracker, where he just kind of like drinks a ton of apple juice and just spits it at Cracker. It softens up the crackers.
Why not milk then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, why not
Yeah.
milk?
Milk.
I
I mean,
think it's
oh
more
yeah, that's a
cookies,
good point
isn't it?
actually.
Wait,
That's a
what is
really
that?
good point. Yeah, you could eat it actually afterward, because it is a cracker. I mean, he could like.
Fry some cheese and some grapes, and then it's sorted, isn't it?
Cheese.
Oh yeah,
bread.
he just he has the whole little feast with Cracker. Cracker just sitting back like getting consumed in the
Do you
back.
guys think Cracker is gonna get eaten? That's what we.
That would actually be pretty likely because I mean a lot of Big Mom's executives are like candy users. They rely on food. Even her first son, what's his name? Forgot his name, but he's the one who licks stuff and turns it into candy. So I mean, I feel like Luffy has a natural counter to that because he can consume like infinite food and then instantly digest it. So he could literally just take the food and use it for energy and almost
He'll
use
just
it
let
against
Chopper go
it.
wild. Chopper, just don't eat all the candy.
Yep. He's got food all around him too, and he recharges with food. When he was fighting CP9, he just took out like a piece of meat and then sort of recharged when he ate it. So, I mean, anything's possible. It's sort of a weird series, but then again, like Frankie, he uses Coca-Cola to run the Thousand Sunny. So there's just a lot of wacky plot devices.
Maybe
I
he
guess.
does run on apple juice.
Yeah.
Maybe he does. That's anybody's guess.
Yeah, so as far as the power scaling with Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, it's really hard to say right now because like we know Luffy has Gear 4th and maybe something better. He could have something in the future. He's obviously gonna need something to fight Kaido. I don't think Gear 4th is going to do anything against Kaido. Maybe just some damage. But as far as actually taking anybody strong out, Gear 4th is very, very hard to really grasp. And do you guys think, obviously, if Gear 4th isn't enough for Luffy, that obviously Sanji and Zoro are going to need something as well to sort of step up, like specific
sure.
abilities?
They do, and I feel like this was the chapter to kind of show what Sanji's potential is, as far as kind of getting on that level. And yeah, I think for Zoro, that's his eye, and probably his Ashura. And instead of Ashura being just an attack, it could be like an actual mode that he could that could last for a while. But they're gonna need something else to be on that level.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the eye thing. I just made a theory about half an hour ago, and basically it could be that Zoro has more than one demon inside him, because throughout the whole time we're seeing these spirits inside him, from when he was fighting T-Bone all the way until he fought Kaku. But Asura was the only one that you actually see the manifested spirit appearing. There could possibly be more spirits or demons inside him, especially now he's got 2 cursed swords, more or less. So Zoro's secret could be his hidden power in his eye. Yes, a lot of people complain he's not Naruto, he's not Sharingan, but there is something which is sealed within him, which has withheld his true power, and that is his trump card. When he does open that eye, either it goes completely crazy, or he basically becomes his true power like Bleach. But I hope it's not like Copycat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I'm not sure if this was filler or not. I think it might have been filler. But when he was fighting against the baboons, one of the baboons like mimicked his cursed aura, I believe. I don't know if it was in the manga, but I do believe that one of the baboons like kind of mimicked his cursed aura. So if there is any level of truth to that, do you think maybe this is sort of like the whole Ashura and the whole Ashura and like the other cursed auras could just be something that swordsmen have within them, like sort of like a fighting spirit? And because he does use other non-cursed abilities too, like he'd use that one dragon ability that lit Ryuma on fire, right? The whole blue dragon that just ignited Ryuma when he sliced him. So maybe his abilities are all sort of part of his fighting spirit, because Kaku at the beginning of the fight, he was stating that Zoro's spirit was going insane, and then when Zoro used Ashura, Kaku said, yo, this guy's spirit is going insane. He's actually forming a demon, or like a demon god, with his spirit. And so there could be some truth to that. I'm not sure. It's definitely possible that Kaku was just misinterpreting it and it was just the power of the cursed sword. But I feel like all these different spiritual sort of powers that give Zoro strength, they could be what helps him in the future and his future moveset, like sort of like a new form of Ashura, new demon auras, new sort of gods, I guess, to back up his strength.
I think all these gods inside him would drive people crazy. We've seen it from when he first got Sandai Katitsu. He's people get killed, they die all of a sudden, like get murdered or get suicide. So either the Wado Ichimochi, the sword that Kuna gave to him, might actually calm him down. Maybe her spirit might be in there or something to basically calm him down to balance the demons inside him, or something like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's definitely strange with the whole cursed sword thing, because as much as I want to say like it's his own power, the whole cursed sword thing that we saw when it was explained, we saw people going crazy, we saw their eyes lighting up, so it could go either way with the whole Ashura thing.
But also with Zoro and everything we've seen from him, I do think that a lot of people kind of overrate Zoro, and they put him on a level where it's kind of ridiculous, where some people actually think Zoro could beat Luffy. And I don't think that's the case.
It's one of those power balances things, because you've seen like Luffy fights all the big fights, so he's always assume he's the strongest. Sanji always gets beaten up, so we assume he's the weakest of the monster trio. And Zoro never uses full power, so we always assume he's either like Luffy or just weaker than Luffy, because we never actually see him properly fight like when we saw him against Mr. One. That's why we're all having these assumptions that Zoro's a badass, but then we haven't seen him actually lose in a fight for so long.
No, I definitely think that there is some level of evidence that Luffy is stronger than Zoro, because even pre-time skip, Luffy broke steel before Zoro could, because remember he broke Arlong's sword, and then he also broke that armor that Don Krieg had. That was supposedly one of the strongest armors like around. Luffy could break both of those, and Zoro couldn't really do that at first. He had to really struggle to be able to actually slice steel against Mr. One. So in a way, Luffy was a little bit ahead in terms of strength, I think, at first. And that could carry over into the New World as well, if the pattern repeats.
We're talking about in terms of strength-wise, that Luffy's stronger than Zoro, but we talking about in terms of fighting-wise, who would win? That's the question. That's why Zoro, like Luffy's weaknesses, besides him being stupid, is basically Zoro's swords, which can cut rubber so easily. Yeah. Since we've seen it with Cracker, and now we've seen it with Enel, Luffy's weakness by far is getting cut. Either he can develop his Haki, which is so strong, which can't be cut, or he must find a way. Like I remember back in the days, One World, where you made a great theory about Luffy's Gear 5 was like he becomes like an Haki-based armor or something. Where his whole body becomes armor.
Like full
there
body
must be
Haki.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you made it last year. You drew it as well.
Oh yeah.
So guys, check it out if it still exists.
I think I removed it. It was kind of wacky. I got rid of it.
It was great. He looks like
He was like I sort of made him into like
the Iron Man kind of like an Iron Man kind of armor kind of thing, where he's just like stumpy but yeah, that's. And or we can, Luffy can get his surroundings, like when he awakens his fruit, he can get his surroundings to become like an armor. Who knows? Because where things stand now, Luffy's weakness is sharp weapons like swords.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing with that is like everybody's weakness is kind of sharp weapons. So I mean, I think,
that's true.
Game over.
I think that's
get a sword.
Like,
just get a sword. That's it.
Well, what about Conqueror's Haki? Because that definitely would put him above Zoro in some way. Because we know Zoro specializes in armament Haki, but to a degree, Conqueror's Haki also has an effect like on the environment. We saw Shanks walking around on Whitebeard's ship, and it was destroying the ship. Just him even releasing his Haki, it was destroying the ship around him. And we saw with Kaido, this may have been this was non-canon, I think, but in the anime he sort of like roared, and then this huge blast of pressure just released on the island and blasted everything away in a shockwave. Do you think that maybe Conqueror's Haki will give Luffy a huge boost in power and fighting ability and put him above Zoro maybe in that sense, and Sanji as well?
Well, when we saw, I don't know, we saw that potential when he was fighting Don Shinjo. Every attack he was doing was infused with Conqueror's Haki. When I saw that scene there, I don't know, was it in the manga? I need to check it again. But in the anime, when he was fighting against Don Shinjo, every attack he had Conqueror's Haki, and that was amazing. And I thought he'll be using that kind of fights against the big boys now, but it didn't actually happen.
Well, he did it against
Doflamingo. Yeah, Doflamingo happened.
Yeah, they had a lot of clashes there.
Oh, there you go. So that's his true power, using Conqueror's Haki as
He
a
plays with his own
additional
attack, yeah.
armor or maybe additional power.
Yeah, another thing with that, I think once you fight another Conqueror's Haki user and you manage to overcome him, your Conqueror's Haki actually grows. So, once he's
That's
spirit
defeated,
kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
was
So
stated
once you
that-
defeated Don Chinzhao, yeah.
Yeah, it
and
was stated
defeated
that Luffy, for
Doflamingo.
example, I think it was stated by Don Chinzhao actually. He said that maybe it was Rayleigh, but they said that you have to basically, as a conqueror or a king, you have the spirit of the king. You have to overcome the even bigger kings in the New World, which is full of people with Conqueror's Haki and who are basically kings in their own right. So you basically have to be the king of kings in the New World in order to be Pirate King. So I feel like Luffy's
Right.
gonna have to really just push his Conqueror's Haki to the limits, and that way, as we saw every time he like kind of fought with Don Chinzhao, it would have a huge like effect on the environment. It would create these huge shockwaves. So eventually he could get so strong that if he were to fight with a Yonko, it would just demolish the entire island just from the pressure alone of the Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah. I actually think Conqueror's Haki as well could be a counterbalance to kind of like some devil fruits.
Yeah.
Because we saw with Doflamingo, he used it to, he kind of got out of Aokiji's ice. Luffy, well, this is the anime, but he kind of got out of Monet's ice as well. So I don't know if that could be something in
Yeah,
the
there was
future
the
where
Conqueror's
you
Haki
need
effect when he
Conqueror's-
opened his eyes with Monet.
Right. Yeah, so you maybe Conqueror's Haki is something that you can use to kind of oppose devil fruits, like so maybe that Blackbeard Kurozu
Oh,
for
that's
him
a
to
good
kind of
idea.
escape that.
I just
you'd
thought
have
of
to use
something.
Conqueror's Haki.
I thought of a way that could work actually, because Conqueror's Haki you overpower people's spirits, so you could overpower
Right.
the devil's spirit.
Exactly. So
Yep.
Conqueror's Haki, it's a lot more important than just knocking out fodder. That we,
Yeah.
So we all agree then that if
Definitely.
Luffy was to get stronger, he needs to develop his Conqueror Haki, and that's it.
Yeah, and in that sense, Conqueror's Haki is kind of
Well-
like really overpowered in that sense because we saw like,
It would be.
well, but then again, do you think that would Conqueror's Haki is something that Zoro and Sanji will maybe get as well to sort of not fall too far behind? Like, they
Everything
could
is
have
there. Everything is there for the other two to get it as well.
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
Zoro and Sanji will get it.
I don't see why not. Like Sanji, he's already royalty, and Zoro probably is going to be the world's best swordsman.
Yeah.
And we saw Rayleigh he was a second in command, so I don't feel like just because you're second in command limits you. So I don't see why Zoro and Sanji would not get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rayleigh's too much of a similar character to Zoro for Rayleigh to have Conqueror's Haki and Zoro to not have Conqueror's Haki.
Well, Rayleigh
Yeah.
also said, Rayleigh and Treble, they both said that Conqueror's Haki is something that is predominant in leaders around the world, kings, people who are strong in their own field and who are very prestigious, I guess. Doflamingo, he was the king of Dressrosa. He was the king of that little mafia. We've seen pretty much Boa Hancock, for example. She is the empress. Just everybody who has Conqueror's Haki is a leader in their own way. So we may end up seeing Sanji, who is royalty, who has sort of inherited Judge's will. If Judge, since he is sort of royalty and he also is a very powerful like scientist, he could have Conqueror's Haki, and maybe only Sanji inherited the Conqueror's Haki, which will set him apart because we even see with his eyebrows. His eyebrows are in a different direction. So maybe he sort of matches Judge or something, or maybe his mom. I don't know. It's very, very getting into the field of speculation, but
Wait, wasn't what was Rayleigh's name? It was like the king of.
Dark King.
Dark
He's a
King.
Dark
Yeah,
King.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I presume that.
Still was Rayleigh.
Yeah. Wait, say it again. I didn't hear that.
I think it was the Echo.
But yeah, you can assume
Dark
that.
King still was Rayleigh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
can assume that Zoro's gonna have a similar name because of Ashra and things like that.
I was thinking Demon King eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Demon
Ooh,
King
that's
is
good,
an
actually.
Yeah.
Ashra.
Yeah, so he gets a Demon King.
Well,
and then
his name is
Sanji, I
Demon
think-
Slayer. Like he has the Demon Slayer technique. So maybe the
Power
Demon
Hunter, he's
Slaying
the Power
King.
Hunter.
He's a powered hunter right now, which doesn't
Yeah.
fit right now.
Yeah.
So I think eventually
Oh,
that's
Demon
gonna get
Hunter,
changed.
maybe.
The Demon Hunter. maybe.
God Hunter.
he's-
Oh, that would be sick.
Unfortunately, he didn't get trained by Rayleigh, so he would have been the Dark Prince now, wouldn't he, if he was trained by Rayleigh?
Well, the thing is,
Dark
if he
Prince.
overcomes all the demons that's within him, and he could be the king of those, so then that's why I presume he could be the Demon King. And then Sanji, eventually, if he takes down his family and becomes, the strongest Vinsmoke, then that could be a way of him unlocking his Conqueror's Haki.
The thing is if it ends up being a common thing among swordsmen where they have like demons inside their bodies or whatever,
Yep.
and it would be pretty cool if he was like the demon hunter.
Oh,
or whatever,
Shiliew.
because
Yeah, Shiliew.
Yeah, it seems
Exactly.
like because a lot of the swordsmen they seem to have something with like fate and everything seems to be planned and predestined. and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, Shiliew from the Impel Down, he had one eye closed as well, and we saw his sword was sort of cursed. He would end up accidentally killing people, just like Zoro did when he got his demon sword. You know, he actually killed everybody in Whiskey Peak. You know that, right? He killed 100 people there. He killed them.
Yeah.
So
Zoro
in a way,
mentioned
that could
bloodlust
have
from it, the bloodlust.
yeah.
savage.
Because normally he doesn't kill people. He uses like the backside of his sword, or he cuts in a non sort of lethal area. So maybe he didn't mean to kill all these people, but the power of the sword and the curse was so strong that he sort of subconsciously became very demonic and just kind of killed them all. And that could be in the future how him and Shiliew kind of connect. Shiliew was saying like, "Yo, I'm sorry for killing you guys." He would accidentally kind of kill people in a way, and Shiliew as well had the closed eye. And
But is his eye closed though? Because it's more his cap sort of covering it.
no, you can see his eye in some panels. It's like closed. It's not cut, but it's closed.
The question is, would the demon or the curse overwhelms the user or not? Either Zoro controls it, but Shiryu, I can imagine him letting his curse overwhelms him, where the curse controls his body, like Hakuba.
Ooh, so
Yeah, Hakuba.
So that's like
he
an
he seems to take pleasure from it, even though he seems like remorsing for it. He seems to enjoy it at the same time.
and he kind of always blames it on his sword as well. He's like,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
you know,
He's saying sorry. This blames the swords as well. It's almost like kind of Bleach, your favorite, you know. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's
that.
toll.
It's like Bleach,
I'm
isn't
thinking
it?
it's gonna be something similar to that. Even
So he
though
has like a bankai.
We hope not, bro.
not really like a manga.
Who likes
I mean,
Bleach
maybe
anymore?
that's-
Anyway, who likes Bleach?
That's what Ashura
Zoro's
is.
just like,
is
"Bankai."
Bankai.
Maybe, yeah, because I
He's
mean,
a
maybe
lot- Bleach's
Hakuba
Ashura.
is, yeah, Hakuba may be a release of like, you know, your sword, you know, your sword it takes over your body,
Yeah.
and you have to learn how to control that.
That
We
would
also
actually be
saw
sick,
that,
'cause then Zoro would have like 3 releases. Or
There's also the whole
Exactly.
theory where when Cavendish, he used Hakuba, and when they kind of split, we saw in his eye changed color to yellowish, and it looked exactly like Mihawk's eye.
Like Mihawk's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I mentioned in my video. Exactly. Because
Yeah.
I know it's the anime only,
Right.
but it's, you know.
It was in the manga too, actually, because his eye was it had these 2 hoops in it, like Mihawk's. So
Yeah, so it
Yeah, it was in
changed. So
manga.
it could be something there. Mihawk obviously already overcame that demon or whatever his sword is, because you know his
Yeah.
sword is special.
like I sort of said, like I don't know if it's a actual demon. It could just be like when you're a swordsman and you are battling with these swords, your soul just kind of like becomes corrupted in a way. But as we saw with Zoro originally, a lot of his attacks are very spirit based. Whenever he uses an attack, there's like an animal behind him, or there's like a dragon behind him, and that helps him. It actually amplifies his body, like you know the whole Gorilla 1, Gorilla 2, when he buffs up his arms. It actually has an impact on his body, these like kind of spiritual abilities, but that's not demonic. So maybe the demon auras are still his spirit, but it's just like sort of cursed by the sword, but it's still his ability. You know what I mean?
If you remember, what was the first ship that the Straw Hats had? I'm drawing a blank here.
Mary?
What?
Wait, say it again.
First ship that the Straw Hats had. The Mary.
The Mary.
Okay, you remember how it had like its like own spirit or whatever
The
after
Watermon,
like a
yeah.
while?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be something similar to that, to where like if you use the sword enough in combat, it like grows its own spirit, and if you use Haki, you can like release its spirit, and that's might be what Ashura is and other techniques like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because how Shiryu talked about his sword, it seemed like it developed its own will after a while.
Yeah.
The more blood he fed to it, so it became like blood.
Oh, that's a good point, because
thirsty, so-
Ryuma did say, he said that the sword sort of chooses its master, and that you
Right.
will please the sword. Like he actually talked about it like a person. Now we thought this was sort of
Yes.
metaphorical, but in One Piece it could be more literal. And even we heard in the whole flashback with Zoro and Mihawk was like, anybody can have a black blade, and his blade is obviously black. He's like, anybody can have a black blade with armament Haki. So maybe he has permanently stored like blackened armament Haki into his sword, and that is maybe just his spirit kind of taking over the sword or something like that.
Well, maybe they're one at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe him
It's
and his sword
fused
are
with him,
one,
maybe
so
his
it's
spirit.
like... Right, exactly. So maybe that's just, you know...
Were the swords all made by the same person, or was it different people that made the swords?
Oh yeah, it's one guy who made it. He made all the cursed swords, I think.
But could it not be his soul that's infused into the swords?
Yeah, I made a whole like a while back. I made like sort of a video on this, sort of how devil fruits could have been made too. Maybe they were like created by a person like the cursed swords were created. Maybe he has like his soul, because it was said that the Sea Devil has he basically has the devil fruits as his incarnations. That was stated by Shanks. So each of these devil fruits could be like a piece of his spirit, his different powers. He could have been like a Haki master or something, and he just put his spirit into all of these fruits, and maybe he's the one who created it. Because once more, Shanks said that all devil fruits are the incarnation of the Sea Devil, which it's sort of singular. It could mean plural, meaning that maybe a bunch of other people had their spirits inside the fruit, but it does sound singular, so maybe it was created by one person. It's hard to say. But yeah, as far as spiritual transfer, the cursed swords, devil fruits, they have spirits inside of them. What else? The Going Merry, it has sort of like a spirit inside of it. And
let me make a point here. The Viva cards, they hold a person's spirit, do they not?
Yeah.
Because when Nami shows Big Mum's one, it actually emanates her spirit, and all her creations actually fear this Viva card. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it picked up her spirit. Yeah.
A soul can actually be stored in an object.
And Big Mom's is more direct. I think that's what's so cool about her power, because she can directly, like, the Going Merry was sort of just a slow process of the Straw Hats putting their willpower and like spirits and eventually forming a bond with the ship, and that made the ship sort of gather their spirits into a entity. Frankie even said that when a crew loves their ship enough, it will begin to grow this Klabaterman, however you pronounce it, this spirit. So maybe over time, if like Zoro does become more into like, I guess attached to his swords, maybe he could begin to become like Mihawk, where he'll get like his 3 primary swords that he's going to use at end of series, and they will become like black swords almost, you know.
Do you think it's something with his black sword you have to like consistently be hockeyed up? That could be a way to train it. Like you're like all the time it's just like a black blade, but you're using armor and hockey to train.
I still think the black blade is just black. Like I don't think it has anything to do with hockey or anything.
Well,
like
Mihawk
that,
said that anybody can have a black blade, so in a way, that could have been just saying like, yo, you could just coat it with black armament, or maybe over time your armament becomes permanent within it. Like we saw with
basically what I think that he was trying to say was that like you can have a great sword, but like me, and it helps a lot. But at the same time, you can just improve your sword with hockey.
Yeah, it could go either way. It's just like how you take it, I guess. The quote. But I want to move into Luffy too, because we've been talking about the other two. How will he advance? Because we know Gear 4th right now, he's struggling against Cracker, who may not even be the strongest commander of Big Mom, because we saw he was only like the second person who came out to guard the island. There was a 4th one who was beaten by Rouge, but Cracker's like a step up from him, and there may be even more strong players in the whole Big Mom crew, meaning that even Big Mom herself and Kaido and all of them, they might just be impossible for Gear 4th to even like touch, and he's going to need more abilities.
It would have probably took Rouge a lot of fucking effort just to beat that other guy. So Cracker might have actually just took him out when in his weakened state. That's
a point people like to bring up at the same time. Like, why would Big Mom send someone who's at the same strength, to go take out the intruder? Because in a way, she didn't know like how strong Rouge was or how badly he beat him. So I think it would make sense if this 4th commander was slightly weaker than Cracker, or maybe a lot weaker, and Rouge beat him, and then she was like, okay, this guy's strong, let's test him out with Cracker. And then if he beat Cracker, she may send out someone who's even stronger. That's the way I kind of saw the whole thing. But just in general, I feel like her second in command is going to be a lot stronger than Cracker. Her third command will probably be a lot stronger too than Cracker.
A lot stronger?
I think so, because just with like Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, for example, they are very sort of close in strength. The top 3 are usually always the.
Do you think it's going to go with her children's number order, if you go and saying, like from their birth? So obviously the first son will be the first in command.
Well, the first son was already revealed. And he's not. I don't think he's a sweet commander. But yeah, I feel like the top 10 who were born have a higher chance of being stronger because they're older.
Wouldn't it be crazy that actually Big Mom actually planned all this, where she wanted Luffy to go on that Pacific island because she knows that basically Luffy's will get lost and get confused, and maybe she actually planned to send Cracker. Maybe she knows that Cracker might be Luffy's weakness. What do you guys think about that?
Oh yeah,
It's all
she could.
planned
Yeah,
that she
yeah,
actually
yeah.
planned all this.
Well, sort of like what I said before, I feel like there's a system to her island where she fights intruders by setting out like originally she had a fourth commander who she sent out to guard the island, but after he was defeated, then she had like a step up, a commander that was a little bit stronger to handle the new intruders who were maybe a little bit stronger than the fourth commander. But yeah, maybe Cracker was planned, but I feel like if he went against Rouge as well, he's just the primary like guardian of Whole Cake and stuff.
I don't think that there's like a big difference between the Sweet Commander power levels though. Like you're saying, like there's like the one above him might be way stronger, and the one above him might be way stronger. I don't think that there's that.
Well,
big of a
maybe
difference.
once you get to like the second in command and third in command, like the top two Sweet Commanders, they are very similar. But I feel like there is going to be a step up from Cracker once we see the other two, maybe.
I think the first commander is probably gonna be the gap.
Yeah, like,
'cause
for
when
the
you look
whole-
at the kind of Whitebeard's crew.
Yeah, for the
But we can
Calamities, for
assume that-
example, we may see like Jack maybe being one of the lower Calamities, and we may see like maybe the second command being a mythical zone and having like these crazy abilities. Mostly just because the whole way each arc works, where we have, for example, the whole Alabasta arc works. You had Crocodile, who was the strongest, Mr. 1, who is pretty close, and then you had Mr. 3, who is kind of close to Mr. 2, but weaker. And that was how the whole Monster 3 battle setup, I guess, worked.
I know what you mean, but at the same time, now that Jimbei's joining the crew, he's probably going to be on the same level as Sanji and Zoro, so it makes more sense for all the Calamities to be on the same level for when they fight.
I mean, I think
maybe,
it's going to be a
in a way.
slight step up, not a drastic difference. And then matchups are going to be important as well.
Yeah, that is a good
because I
point.
feel like
But no, what I-
Marco is
sorry.
I think a different matchup, other than like Jozu, where it's like physical fighters would have more of a problem with like Jozu, but then Marco would be easier.
I think with Whitebeard's crew, I think it's more obvious, like the rankings because of the division commanders. But I think if you put like a bunch of people on the same rank as like Calamity and Sweet Commander, they should all be around the same strength.
Well, that's,
Right, but
yeah,
it was
I
like-
mean around the same strength as well, but like as we know, there is a slight gap between like usually when CP9, for example, we had Lucci, who was like double the strength of Kaku, and then Kaku was a little bit stronger than Giabra. So that's what I mean by the Sweet Commander difference. For maybe some of them it might be a big difference. Some of them might not be that big of a
But
difference.
Lucci was technically the captain,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Big Mom's gonna be like.
Yeah.
So basically,
Right.
sticking to the same pattern, the top 3 or top 4 commanders are the strongest in that ranking order, or basically not regards to strength level, but more like their devil fruits are basically. So basically, the commander number 1 has the strongest devil fruit, basically.
Yes.
Works.
Yes,
Baroque
yes.
works same thing. It was like
Yeah.
Mr. 3 and Mr. 2 and Mr. 1 were more or less similar in terms of fighting, but Mr. 1 had the steel devil fruit. So it could be the same for the Sweet Commanders, where even Kaido's crew, the top commander has the best devil fruit, aka also Whitebeard. Marco had the Phoenix
Yeah,
fruit.
mythical,
So it could
yeah.
be that kind of. I think the only time we've seen commander/priests who didn't have any ranking was the Enel's group, innit? Enel's group was the most boring group, but none of them had the rankings where
No,
he
the
was
priest had a
stronger than the
ranking
other.
because there was the percentage of how you could beat them. Like, yeah, there were a difference in strength because when you entered the different tests or whatever, there was a percentage of how you could beat them. One was like 30%,
good
one was
memory.
like 50%, one was
Memory.
like 1%.
Cool, that's good memory. Cool.
But think about Dofi's family though. Like
Yeah, them
it's hard to distinguish. I mean, obviously Virgo, I think, was probably the strongest. But as far as Diamante, Pika, and Trebo, it's no real gauge to see who was the strongest one there. Maybe Pika.
Well, he did say that, for example, like he wanted Law to fit which one? The Heart, I think?
The Heart seat. Yeah.
So he made it sound like it was sort of like a second in command type deal, maybe.
Well,
So maybe he
he
does
said
have-
Virgo at one point was his corazon. So that's kind of like his right hand.
Yeah, so I feel like he does have a
Yeah.
right hand. Well, basically my
Yeah.
point is that even if like the third command or the second Sweet Commander after Cracker isn't much stronger, I feel like the second in command is going to be a little bit stronger, considerably maybe stronger than Cracker, and then Big Mom herself is going to be like double or triple their strength, obviously. But
Triple.
triple, double,
Oh, sorry,
I don't know.
sorry.
He's a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I
the
mean, like
thing is-
Rayleigh, for example, like Rayleigh, Rogers' crew, there was obviously a strength gap between them, but Rayleigh was still kind of close. I don't. Feel
Yeah,
like Big
I
Mom's
think it's a gap, but
not a huge gap. Maybe
I
Not
don't know
that.
why you're underestimating Cracker's strength so much, because I feel like you're saying
I'm
that Luffy
not.
needs to be way Well, no, I'm just saying, I feel like you're saying that Luffy needs to be way stronger because he can't even beat Cracker, and Cracker's not that strong. But I think Luffy, if he does barely beat Cracker, that's on the level where he should be.
Assuming Cracker is the weakest commander.
Well, no, my main point is that Cracker, even though he is very, very strong, I feel like Big Mom herself is going to be a way bigger obstacle. Because even though, yeah, Cracker's strong,
Sure.
I feel like Big Mom could just, like, flick Cracker away to some degree. Maybe not literally, but just like...
No, yeah.
I don't think Big Mom's flicking.
So it makes you think though, if the other commander didn't lose, would that other sweet commander be going to fight Luffy instead of Cracker or not?
More than likely.
Well, my point is
They
that
say
Big
at
Mom's
the beginning
spirit is
that,
so strong. Like, even the... like, just her spirit, it would just crush through the Crackers, and it would just probably, whip Cracker. I mean...
The thing is, why I don't think like that would just automatically happen is
Her
like
spirit
because
is
even when
Haki
Luffy becomes
everything.
Pirate King, I don't think Luffy's gonna just walk all over Zoro and Sanji.
Yeah,
I don't
that's my
think
point.
gonna happen.
But that's
Yeah.
that's also the thing, because Zoro's like his right hand man, Sanji's like his third in command, third strongest in the crew. But with the Sweet Commanders, we have Cracker as potentially maybe outside the top 3, maybe.
You think so?
Maybe. It kind of depends at the end of the day. Like I was saying before, it could go up like a rung. Like each rung of the ladder is stronger. That's how I feel based off of the system where they treat invaders. Like you have the 4th guy come out, he was beaten, let's send out someone stronger. If you beat that guy, then it's like, okay, now we got to bring out the big guns. And then you eventually get to Big Mom herself. Because we see with her territories, it sort of has, like, you travel down and the different islands and to the big circle, and then finally get to the island. So I feel like that's how she treats invaders, maybe.
But I think within that whole thing with Big Mom sending out the strongest or the weakest after that one gets defeated, it's like one of her sweet commanders got taken out by a supernova already. Yeah, Rouge. So then another one comes, and then you send like the weakest, which is probably Cracker because he took out Rouge again. It depends. I don't know. The Cracker, he could be the weakest one, but then he could just be one that's like an enforcer, but that's not necessarily the weakest commander.
I don't know. The way I see it is maybe like Cracker could be like the Blue No we saw obviously in Water 7. Luffy was struggling a lot against like Blue No, but once he found a way to overcome like certain fighting styles, then he could come up with techniques to basically fight like Lucci and stuff. Even though Lucci was like considerably stronger than Blue No.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. I said like a while back when I did the review, I was like, maybe Cracker's like the Blue No. Luffy's struggling right now, but maybe he will find a way to overcome that obstacle, and then maybe fighting guys like Cracker, he'll develop a technique against that. Because One Piece is all about techniques. People treat it too literally with the whole strength tiering and stuff like that. Like Luffy beat Crocodile, who was as a complete rookie. Luffy was a complete rookie, but he beat Crocodile using strategy alone. Even though Crocodile had a way better fruit, Crocodile had perfected his Devil Fruit. He had so much knowledge. Crocodile was also a very good fighter. He had poison. All of the odds were against Luffy. Crocodile was way stronger physically. Maybe not physically, actually, but just overall. But Luffy still overcame him with strategy.
Right.
So once he develops a strategy against these Sweet Commanders, then maybe Big Mom and Yonko maybe might not seem as bad. They will obviously be a huge obstacle, but that's the way I feel how Luffy's character works. He just develops.
I definitely agree. Because where things stand now, Luffy is always beating his opponents from the first try through raw strength. Against Crocodile, he used blood, so he'll have to use his mind more. Against Cracker, pure strength is not working. He has to think of a strategy. And hoping, like I said before in the beginning of the stream, is if he's using the apple juice or something, it can be something used. Because where I've seen Cracker at the moment, he seems to be the strongest defense. So eventually, maybe it goes with a pattern. We might see the strongest offense eventually with the commanders.
Yeah, it's also sort of like you were saying with the whole Cracker. For ice, for example, ice is like you can only break ice in certain ways. Like you can't just step on ice and then it'll just magically break. You kind of have to like split it. You have to kind of like, break it a certain way. So maybe his Crackers work similarly, where if you just use raw strength to break it, it doesn't work the same as maybe when you try to break it a different way, like snap it in half maybe. I don't know. Just like you were saying with the whole.
You snap in half, it becomes more, doesn't it? Every time you break Cracker, it becomes more pieces.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was
what
saying
Luffy's
with the whole.
struggling with at the moment.
Maybe Gear 4th has other forms. That's why with the whole adaptability. So if you can adapt, maybe with Gear 4th by changing the air in his muscles, and maybe the level of Haki he uses. He's obviously concentrating a lot on maybe like armament in Bounce Man. Maybe in another form he'll use less air and he'll focus on observation Haki, so that he can go a lot faster. Kizaru was able to beat the speed of light by using observation alone. So maybe that'll be how he handles certain opponents based on their specific traits. Cracker specializes in defense, so you can just adapt to that in a way.
Yeah, matchups are going to be important going forward, and how you kind of balance those out. But I think as the more Luffy goes up, it's like, as far as your weaknesses, I think it matters less, because you're just going to have to figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like the top tiers, even if like we saw with Aokiji and Akainu, even though he was, you know, at a disadvantage, he still found a way to kind of stretch that fight out. You know, I think that kind of shows your true strength, how you can kind of get out of those situations.
Look, Luffy just needs to punch Cracker one time and it's game over. He hates pain. He hates pain. That's all we need to do. But and that's the aim, really. But we now know that Luffy's, you know, we're talking about Cracker quite a lot, so we know where things stand with Cracker. We don't know. But if Sanji fought Cracker, we agree that Cracker will beat Sanji, right?
Yeah.
Cool. What about Zoro? Can Zoro beat Cracker or not?
If he's beating Sanji, he's beating Cracker. Zoro.
He's going to beat Zoro as well.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
What do you guys think? Because Zoro can cut every Cracker in pieces. Or smash it into pieces, but cut nice clean slices.
Well, it depends on the Haki too as well. You know?
It all depends on
I
bone
can see what
density.
you're saying, but do you really think that Zoro's attacks are stronger than King Kong punches?
We're looking more at the fact it's not about in a open area, like smashing in a big area. He's cutting in a specific point.
Yeah,
So
okay, I can see
If
that.
that makes sense. If that makes sense. Like cutting specific points, and he learned that through the when he fought Mr. One, when he can hear those I can't remember what it was. He can hear specific points to cut, basically.
Yeah.
So if he can find those weaknesses, cutting the right spots, maybe it can be a different story completely. Even cut through all the Crackers straight into the real body.
Well, here's a good
What he's
question.
doing at the moment, he's smashing them all.
Here's a good question. Do you think that King Kong Gun could just beat Cracker? Like, if he just came out right now, King Kong Gun, do you think that would beat Cracker?
The thing is we talked about this on Brago's stream.
Yeah.
We were saying that, like, even though we do think that if he gets hit, he will probably get one shot, he does have advanced Haki, so, like, you still have to break through the Haki, but if you hit him, I don't know, we would have to see if King Kong Gun could go through.
Well, there is a huge difference.
Out, right?
There's a way you can kind of scale it, maybe. With, for example, when Luffy was fighting Doflamingo, he was breaking through, like, he was hitting his body. But then once Doflamingo started using the awakened strings, Kongun wasn't doing much. Like, it wasn't breaking through the strings. He had to, like, kind of get around them and then use Leo Bazooka. But we saw Doflamingo, he used his highest concentrated strings. He added tons and tons of armament to the heavenly bullets or whatever. And Luffy just smashed right through him, like, very little struggle. So maybe there is a huge difference in strength between King Kong Gun and normal Kong Gun. That, like, for example, just this, he couldn't break through the strings with standard Kong Gun, but with King Kong Gun, he could even break through the advanced strings, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, he might end up using the Leo King Kong Gun on Cracker to beat him.
Yo, King.
Stop, yo.
That happened, though. It happened. I'm telling you, it's in the movie, dude.
No, man. No,
It's in the movie. Oh my god, you're gonna see it. You're gonna feel so stupid. You're gonna see it in the movie. I already saw it in there.
We'll see. I don't think so, but I think with the King Kong Gun, if Luffy does use that, that's gonna be a gamble, because he's gonna be hoping that it finishes him. Because if it doesn't, then he's just vulnerable.
Well, another thing, I kind of hope he doesn't use King Kong Gun in a way. I feel like he should beat Cracker using, like Panda was saying, strategy. Maybe like the weakening his crackers with juice or milk or water, just dampening them, and then crushing him before Gear 4th takes a huge toll on his body. Because we saw he was passed out for 3 days after using Gear 4th and then King Kong Gun. So that would not fly with Big Mom and saving Sanji, because he's going to at least, like, if he wants to get past Big Mom, because Big Mom is going to be there. If he wants to get past her and to be able to just run out with Sanji, he's going to need lots and lots of strength to at least be able to, like, you know, just push her away temporarily. Maybe he'll use King Kong Gun the last bit of his strength and Haki just to like push Big Mom back, and then he'll run out with Sanji. That's how I feel it's gonna work with the whole.
He's gonna run out with Sanji.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, he's not gonna be like. I think you're thinking of the arc too simply, and the fact that I don't think Luffy's ever gonna have a chance against Big Mom right now whatsoever.
It's gotta be a clash,
no matter what
at
he
least.
does.
A clash.
I don't think he actually
Maybe.
gets to her.
He's not gonna
Maybe,
fight
but
her. He's not gonna fight. They're not gonna be like exchanging blows. I feel like Luffy is going to get there. He's gonna have Sanji. Big Mom's gonna be like, "Yo, you guys are trying to get away." She's not gonna sit there and just watch him like take Sanji away. She's gonna chase after
Oh
him.
yeah, but I think there's gonna be much more complicated things than that going on. It's not like I don't think that they're just gonna grab him and leave. There's gonna be some like weird things going on with the Vinsmokes and like
Yeah.
Capone and like betrayals and all that good stuff. So.
Well, just imagine Impel Down. Like, for example, Luffy couldn't beat Magellan, right? Magellan was way stronger, but Luffy had to just push him back to at least enough to get away. You know, there's obviously going to be more stuff going on. You know, Capone's going to be trying to take out Big Mom. The Vinsmokes are going to be trying to chase after the Straw Hats as well because they're taking Sanji, maybe. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. But in a way, I feel like Luffy and Big Mom had to at least clash. Like, just a clash, one punch, or Luffy just...
Right.
Because they got to test the
know what you're
difference in
saying.
strength. Luffy's got to see.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Big Mom is gonna like completely wreck him. Like I don't think it's gonna be even close when they have that little clash.
But the thing is, I don't think Luffy ever gets to even clash with Big Mom, because even when the whole Marineford, an admiral couldn't get to Whitebeard, you know. So it's like, why would Luffy be able to get to Big Mom?
The reason I think it's important, even like Froop said, he said maybe Luffy will just get whooped. That's also important because I feel like Luffy has to know the difference in strength. Right now, he's like we saw in Zoe, he was like, oh, yo, the Yonko, I gotta beat them. I gotta steal their road poneglyphs. And like the Straw Hats were like, no, let's not fight the Yonko. And he's like, no, I gotta do it. But I feel like if he does at least fight with Big Mom now, he'll know what he's up against for Kaido, so he can better prepare. Like, you know, with
But what if he gets taken out by? Remember when Zoro told Pika, "You're not even good enough for my captain"?
Yeah.
Like, what if one of her commanders said, "You're not even good enough to reach her right now"? So he's like, that's even more motivation. He couldn't even reach.
Yeah, just
Big
something.
Mom.
There's got to be something. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
he could come in with King Kong gun. He could like maybe hit her, and then it won't even do much. Like, it'll just kind of push her back, and then he'll be like, "What? That didn't do anything." And then he'll know that is the difference in strength. Maybe he'll clash with her a bit with King Kong gun, and it'll just be like an even exchange. Like, her one punch is equal to King Kong gun, maybe. Maybe he'll like, you know, just try to hit her with Gear Third, and she'll just like block it, and then just knock him to the ground. There's got to be some kind of exchange. For
I
him to
feel
know.
like it's unlikely
Yeah, I can see that happening.
for Luffy to even get to Big
It
Mom.
would be
at this
epic,
point.
yeah, if Luffy comes in and does Conqueror's Haki. Everybody around her faints. The only people standing is just Big Mom and the commanders. That'll be so
Hold on,
epic.
one sec, you guys continue. I
That's-
gotta hit a call.
I don't know. That would kind of diminish like Big Mom's crew if Luffy was able to get to her that easily. Maybe if Big Mom wanted him to do it, then I see it. It's like she set it up where she's like, no, don't stop him, and then she lets him kind of clash with her. But there's no way Luffy should be able to get past her commanders and actually get a hit in on Big Mom. I don't think so, especially with how he's struggling with Cracker, and we're saying that Cracker could be the weakest commander. Like, I don't think there's any way.
I think there's going to be a rematch with Cracker eventually. I think Nami will be involved somehow because she has the VV card, so Nami might actually stop this fight, and then they can lead on to Big Mom, and Cracker can get his revenge, or Luffy can get his revenge at Whole Cake Island. When Luffy analyzes his attacks, he understands Cracker more now. Whatever he says now, look, Luffy's arms is come off already, basically. So he's not at a good point now to beat Cracker at this moment. It's not a good time now. So maybe it's a good time to escape now somehow. And I think with Chopper's making a great plan at the moment, and also, of course, you're seeing Nami with her VV card, something's going to come up. And look, Carrot's still there as well. So I think Luffy's good time to basically do a runner. But he won't run. He'll be...
well, you guys know the whole
somehow.
looking through the Looking at Glass One Piece theory, like how it connects to past arcs. I feel like this arc is like equivalent to maybe the Enies Lobby or maybe Water 7 arc, maybe. Just through the fact that Luffy's gonna have to pull out something maybe new, or he's gonna have to show something, against Cracker. He's gonna have to show us him and Sanji both, and maybe even Zoro when we see him in Wano fighting the samurai and the Shogun. Each one of them are gonna have to show us a new technique, like we saw in Enies Lobby where they were using new techniques. They're gonna have to show us something during these periods of time, because right now everybody's like, Luffy has 0 chance against the Yonko. Everybody's like, Zoro, they kind of hype up Zoro actually, but they're like Sanji kid, he would beat Virgo. How is he gonna beat Big Mom's commander? How is he gonna fight Jack? Like to even suggest like Sanji could beat one of the calamities is like a sin in the One Piece community. Like for me to even suggest Luffy could,
they feel like Sanji's trash.
Yeah, I'm like if I even suggest maybe Luffy could like clash with Kaido on somewhat equal terms with Gear 4th, it's like the biggest sin in the community, you know. But somebody he's gonna have to beat them. He's gonna have to become Pirate King. Like it's gonna have to happen.
How do we see how like the gap between Gear 4th and even Crocker's clones? I mean, it is kind of like.
Well,
yeah. Now we see it though. But that's
also,
what I'm saying.
Though,
a new technique.
With
could
Gear
rise.
4, we have to look at it. It's incomplete, right? It's not a complete thing. It's kind of like it's in the process of being perfected. So right now it's super inefficient. It's not, you know, Luffy's just bouncing around. I think eventually he's gonna have, you know, good control of it, and then you know, he would be a lot stronger in Gear 4.
Well,
like you guys know the spoilers that came out that One World was talking about. I know they're not real, but
they're fake.
It was talking about how like it's gonna be like 5 of the Supernovas versus Kaido. Like I still think it's gonna be like that once we get to the point. I don't think that Luffy's gonna 1v1 him or 2v like 1 him or something like that. I think it's gonna be multiple people versus Kaido. It's gonna be like a huge thing that the Supernovas took down one of the Yonko.
Yeah, ultimately I feel like it'll be a lot like the fight against Magellan, for example, like how he had Mr. 3 coating him with wax, trying to figure out Magellan's weakness. You know, maybe like people helping him out in the background, just to help him have a better edge at beating Kaido. I feel like it will be 1v1, but not in the sense that you think. I feel like Kid and Law right now, like Gamma Knife Law's strongest attack wasn't even able to like lethally wound Doflamingo. It wounded him, but not lethally. Like Doflamingo was just recovering from it. And then Kid, for example, he already went up against Kaido with the Kid Alliance, and for some reason he didn't win. So would that be enough for them to single-handedly stop Kaido's strength? I don't think so. I feel like Luffy specializes in strength. This is more of his field. So I feel like they will have to bridge the gap between Luffy and Kaido by like arming him. Like Kid can put metal armor on him and stuff with Haki, and then maybe Law can like teleport him around and heal him, and we could have.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying, but I think that with the Kid Alliance on top of Luffy and Law, it's gonna be a lot closer fight.
The Kid Alliance. Well, isn't Apu sort of joined with Kaido?
Yeah, it's not gonna be
Apu.
Yeah, I think Apu's still gonna stay with Kaido during the arc.
Okay, well, Hawkins isn't in the
want
cage
that,
either.
though? Do we really want that though?
Here's the thing.
No.
I think he switches as like he sees Kaido is starting to lose. He probably like switches back to the Supernova.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Drake does it as well. And we have like all out Supernovas versus Kaido. Then eventually have all the Supernovas fight against each other.
Yeah, Drake could be on our side or on the Straw Hat side from the start anyways.
Yeah, the thing is, like,
I mean,
people talk about the Supernovas doing damage to Kaido maybe, but then, like, then people get mad if I say King Kong could damage Kaido. Like, okay, if that isn't going to damage Kaido, how on earth is Law's Gamma Knife, which couldn't even take out Doflamingo, how's that going to even, like, touch Kaido? How is, like, Kid's, you know, magnetism going to even, like, affect or phase Kaido? It's kind of hard, unless they all get, like, these magical power-ups and friendship power-ups, where they start, like, you know, pulling out these new techniques that we've never seen that just can tear away at Kaido's strength.
I'm just saying, okay, if 5 Supernovas are all using their best techniques versus Kaido, I think they have a good chance.
Yeah. I just kind of don't like the idea of friendship power and the fact that...
No, they definitely have to have a chance to take him down. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's why I'm saying it would be cooler if they... at first are maybe trying to fight Kaido, but then they can't damage him. But then Luffy, for example, he has like King Kong gun, all these crazy techniques that can like do tons and tons of collateral and just overall damage to everything. Like Law, for example, he doesn't really have anything that could like, you know, really match King Kong gun that much in terms of strength. But I feel like if they were to sort of amplify Luffy in a way, maybe if you can use, like, if Moria is there, for example, a lot of people are saying Moria would
I was just about to say that.
They could stuff him with shadows again. Like, Moria can stuff him with all these shadows, give him, like, a boosted Gear 4th. You know what I mean?
What if instead of the Supernovas helping Luffy, he takes all the shadows off the Supernovas and, like, they give him, like, extra boost because, like, the shadows of the Supernovas are stronger than regular shadows. So he's, like, super, super strong. I can see that happen.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, Luffy kind of has to be the one to do most of the damage, okay? Just it's like, because he's going to be Pirate King. He has to stand out among the other Supernovas, right? He's going to have to be the king of kings. Law already has sort of like, I wouldn't say submitted to Luffy, but he sort of admitted that Luffy's better. Like when his crew came along and was like, "Yo, Law, you beat Doflamingo." He was like, "No, that was Luffy mostly who did it." And
I
I think,
understand what
well,
you're saying,
yeah.
like
I don't think Law is just gonna take a backseat to Luffy. Just
not a
just, I
backseat,
mean,
but I feel like he at this point has sort of realized that Luffy is, better in terms of fighting, and like, he's more of Pirate King worthy. Like he's sort of
I
like
don't
a
know.
Whitebeard in a way. He's sort of like kind of sat
but,
back and maybe
okay.
decided that he's
because
gonna
his goal
revamp.
was different then. Cody.
Yeah, like Whitebeard never wanted any status really that much. Like he kind of sat back
Right.
while Roger gained the Pirate King title, so he could be like that. That's what I sort of mean.
Well, the story's only like 60% done or 65% done. I forget the exact number, but if Luffy can say that Wano's done 70% and Luffy's already beaten like top 3 strongest character in the series, like where do you even go from there?
This I don't think
Wano
he's
will
gonna do
probably
by
be
himself.
no. Wano's gonna be like once it ends, it's gonna be like 75 to 80, I think, percent done because right now we're like 65. Then we got to get through the Big Mom arc. Then we're gonna have to get the Revolutionaries. Then we're gonna have to get through like all the side stuff like Weeble. Then we're gonna have to get through like the Reverie. Then we got to get to Wano, the Samurai, and stuff like that. And then we finally get the whole Kaido arc, which is gonna drag on because we gotta have like Kaido's alliance fighting Luffy's alliance. So it's gonna be by the end 75 to 80% done, and then by then
I think they're probably gonna go straight to Wano after Whole Cake though. I don't.
well, there's gonna be a lot of side stuff going on. Though. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I think all that stuff is gonna go on like in between arcs and in cover stories and stuff like that.
Well, Luffy would have to do something significant and have a significant boost to kind of for it to make sense for him to, I don't know, put a dent in Kaido at this point.
But that's what I'm
You know,
saying.
it's
Like
like-
people look at strength too literally in One Piece. They say Kaido is really strong, so how is Luffy going to beat him if he's not that strong? That's why I say strategy is very important. He's gonna have a technique maybe that can bypass the whole durability. Like Oda even said, like Luffy cannot physically beat Kaido right now. In the recent interview, he said, he's like, I'm not sure how Luffy's gonna beat Kaido. He's like, it's not gonna happen with just a punch, but I'm gonna have to find a way for him to do it. So it's gonna be done, but just not in your typical shonen super power up one shot KO fashion.
Right.
You know?
So he's going to need the powers of someone like Law.
That's what
yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
get
saying.
Yeah.
The alliance is gonna help him out. They're gonna form a huge strategy. They're gonna all like kind of incorporate their powers into this ultimate strategy. But Luffy's gonna have to like take most of the credit, I think. Just to
No,
sort
I
of,
definitely
Luffy
think
probably
that.
lands the last punch, but
Yeah.
Law is going to be the one that maybe sets it up.
Yeah.
I definitely think that Kaido is gonna be taken down in Wano, but I think that it, like even after that, like Luffy's base fighting strength is still not gonna be like that. Okay, it's gonna be pretty high, but it's not gonna be like super high.
I
Yeah,
feel like
I don't
by
think- I don't
then
know
he's
how
gonna
much I can
have
jump.
developed a strategy to he's gonna know the difference in strength between him and a Yonko. So he's gonna know where to build his strength at least, because he's gotta realize how big of a strength how much he's gonna have to build himself up. So I feel like while he's fighting Kaido, there will probably be a few rounds in which he fights Kaido. First round he loses. Second round maybe he has a Supernova Alliance helping him. They lose again. And then by then he'll say, yo, this is how strong Kaido is. This is what I have to do to reach that, reach that strength or be able to counter that strength. Counter it, maybe find a weakness. So
People were
once he
saying, like-
realizes that gap in strength, he's going to know where to build himself. Sort of like with CP9, he was getting crushed by CP9, but then once he realized the gap in strength, he developed something to handle him. So that's going to happen with Luffy. He's going to have to be Yonko level by at least 75 to 80% in the series, because then he's going to have to build himself the Pirate King and fight Blackbeard, who might have 3 Devil Fruits by then for all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's got to fight Akainu, who apparently could take the One Piece in a year if he wanted to. According to
I don't
Oda.
think he fights Akainu, but
I
think that's Sabo.
Well, I feel like Sabo. I feel like the
I don't think
Revolutionaries
Sabo
will fight
ever
the
gets that
Gorosts.
strong.
Well, anyway,
Sabo ever gets that strong?
we've covered Luffy kind of extensively too.
Whoa.
Do you guys want to move on to maybe more of the other Monster 3 again, because that's kind of the topic. I want to talk about their training actually. Their training, like how rough was their training really? Like what did they accomplish during their training?
Well, I feel like they train their base, right, to get their base stronger as far as improving Haki, different techniques, using them more efficiently. Like with Luffy in Gear Second, he because he kind of mastered that, he kind of had the confidence and the control of his Devil Fruit to kind of go to the next level. So I think that's basically what they trained on, like the base in perfecting those attacks.
You don't think they developed like new whole abilities? Maybe like obviously the base as well, but I'm just saying like they gotta have trump cards for the new world because we saw with Sanji, for example, he was fighting against the Okama. He was using like his strongest kicks and stuff. The Okama were unfazed by his kicks. Like at that point, you could even say that the fodder Okama on that island were like CP9 level because Sanji was obviously like hurting Giabra and stuff like that, with Diable Jambe and whatnot. But Sanji was just not even phasing these Okama, so he had to have built himself to fight these guys. And there were masters on the island, the Okama Island, that he had to fight who were even above that. And then he had to fight Ivankov, who is like a freaking monster. So he's gotten really strong, I imagine.
I think it's more about the confidence level because when you're now seeing them, when they first, before a 2-year time skip, their faces drop, they know they're too weak. Then they know they've got 2 years left to train themselves. When they arrived at the island to meet Luffy and everything, they're confident. They look confident, all of them, all the Straw Hats. So it shows that they have trained enough to be ready for the new world. And I agree with the trump card. All of them have their own trump cards. Sanji has his Ivanko's cooking recipes, something that can help the Straw Hats and help himself. Zoro, again, is something to do with his eye. It's a feeling. It's becoming too obvious now. It's something to do with his eye.
Yeah, the demon auras.
Exactly.
Sword, yeah, spirit.
Yeah, and Luffy, of course, we've seen. I think what we believe was his Haki. He developed his Haki so well that he can develop like Gear 4 and everything. So these are the kind of trump. In terms of trump cards, we don't know what it developed, but regards to specific power-ups, we know all of them have powered up dramatically.
I actually do think that Sanji is, after seeing what I've been seeing recently in the manga and like throughout like the story, I think Sanji's actually way weaker than Zoro as it is right now. But I think he's gonna get a big power-up in this arc, like unlocking some type of thing that's like exoskeleton related or something along those lines, and it's gonna bring him up to Zoro's level in Wano.
But here's the thing we were talking about yesterday as well, where is Sanji not naturally a stronger person than Zoro? Because Zoro's constantly training, right? That's what he does all the time. Sanji's just a chef; he's just cooking all the time, and he was basically on Zoro's level this whole time. I mean, post time skip, Zoro's kind of separated. But for the most part, Sanji has been just chilling, and he's on that level. So Sanji just naturally more gifted than Zoro. Like the same way with Luffy, where Luffy, you saw Luffy, he's just basically fishing and doing all that all the time, and he's stronger than Zoro. You know, so maybe Zoro has to work a lot harder than those guys.
I think Luffy trains a lot too, though. I don't think.
I mean, the thing is, we see Zoro doing it a lot. You know, we don't see Luffy.
Yeah, I see what you're.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel like
more
Luffy,
of like a.
Yeah, Luffy's spirit is sort of what grows within him because we even saw Blackbeard in Mocktown. He said, "Yo, Luffy, you got," or he didn't say, he wasn't talking to Luffy. It was after he met Luffy. He said, "Yo, this guy's bounty, it's kind of low for his Haki or spirit," and then his bounty raised, and he's like, "Whoa, that's really insane. That's like, whoa, that's kind of a little bit above his Haki actually." And then we saw in he met him again. He met Blackbeard again in Impel Down, and Blackbeard was like, "Yo, your Haki got a lot stronger now." So obviously, there's been a huge increase in Luffy's spirit just through the beginning half of the series, and that is probably what helped him beat guys like Lucci, his spirit. And then over the time skip, he obviously built up his Conqueror's Haki. He perfected his spirit in a way to be able to use the colors of Haki. So that's sort of Luffy's main thing. I don't think it's as much. There's obviously physical strength because he trained with Garp, but there's a lot of spiritual power. With Zoro, it's more like pure muscle, you know, and spirit incorporated.
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying that Zoro's spirit is stronger than Sanji's, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with your
They all
strength,
specialize in
or...
spirits now. That like Sanji, his Diable Jambe, like he's always like, yo, he's always talking about his emotions and like his, you know, his spirit, his like, how it like it amplifies his flames and such. When he gets really emotional, then his flames go insane. He uses hell memories. He can take out like Wadatsumi the giant. It just has a lot to do with emotion. So not only will they have to train their physical strength, but their spirits and their morale will also have to increase to make them stronger, I feel. But I do want to bring up something interesting as far as their like training and their time skip stuff. I brought this up a lot, but Luffy, like the animals he was training against, they were insanely strong. Just like that one animal he found who Gear 4 wasn't even working on. So that's why I feel like he does have to have a strategy against Cracker, because this one animal Gear 4th wasn't working on. And who do we know Gear 4th also isn't working on? Cracker. So he had to have developed something.
Kind of hard to believe that the animals were really that strong, especially seeing as how much damage Gear 4th did to Doflamingo. So it's like, what, are those animals stronger than Doflamingo? I don't know.
Well, these animals were like, I think it was stated that these animals were like some of the strongest like on the planet. They were like gigantic, like almost mutated in a way to just become beyond.
Yo, imagine if Luffy like barges in on Big Mom's party and he just like he wants to go all out from the start, so he just like con guns Big Mom in the face and it just doesn't even do anything. It's like when Sanji punched his brother and the fist just doesn't even move.
Wait.
Yeah, it would. I feel like King Kongan would do something. Maybe a normal Kongan.
No,
would
not
do
King
anything.
Kongan.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
regular
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Kongan would probably not do anything against Big Mom. Yeah, you're right.
Or Kongan?
I'd graze her maybe. Graze her, just like a little scratch maybe.
Well,
I mean, it might knock her back a little bit, but I don't know if it would do like anything considerable.
Yeah, I don't know, because
That's why the training. That's why I always emphasize like people underestimate how much they could have grown within the training, because Luffy dominated that island full of animals, and there was one animal and presumably more animals that were just beyond like Gear 4th. I mean, even Doflamingo was taking damage from Gear 4th, so these animals could have been, in terms of durability, better than Doflamingo. And Sanji, for example, too. Like Diable Jambe wasn't working on the Okama, so he had to have developed maybe like an advanced Diable Jambe. Obviously, Hell Memories is something like that, but
yeah, one thing is maybe Sanji's embarrassed to use those techniques.
oh yeah, one theory I'm gonna come out with this little spoiler here. I've made the theory in the past. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but I'm gonna update it a lot. The Rainbow Flame, like he's shown it sort of in the One Piece movie. He used it, and in the anime he used it. It was the Spectrum Flame, and it showed all of the colors of like the rainbow. The flames, like when he hit certain people, the flames would burst out into a rainbow color. So I feel like that's sort of like a hint to a later technique he will use, which is like rainbow flames. And he can obviously, I think, use different colored flames because also in Fishman Island, he pulled out a pink flame. He called it an erotic flame. I think it might have been in the manga. I think it was in the manga, but it was just it was a pink flame. So maybe he can use different colored flames that are sort of like Gear 4th. It can kind of like change his strength, maybe the type of color and stuff. Black flames too, maybe.
Exactly. I was just.
Yeah, Fruit. Did you have a theory about that? About Sanji being able to use all the elements?
Yeah. Well, like the thing is like his color is black, and black is like a combination of all the colors in the spectrum. So like, I'm not really exactly
Wasn't
sure.
white? I think white would be the.
I thought it was white, wasn't it? I thought it was white.
I don't know. Is it white? I thought it was black.
White also is the hottest flame. The white is like the hottest possible flame you could have, right? Or is I think it's blue or white.
Black?
No. Black would be like the coldest flame because like certain like stars, for example, black stars are like a lot cooler, I think, than our own sun, for example.
I was always expecting a blue Sanji eventually, blue flame.
Blue
Sanji.
flame and then maybe white flame. That would be the hottest flame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the hottest one. I think I remember that theory last year.
But I think rainbow flames, because the island was rainbow. Remember the huge rainbow over the island? Like the whole, over the Okama Island? That could be his, like, ultimate flame, his ultimate trump card that maybe he used against Ivankov. I feel like each...
Probably...
But...
I was just gonna say, all the Vinsmokes have abilities that are, like, pertaining to their color, like blue lightning, pink poison, so you would assume Sanji has something pertaining to black that it's going to be his power, so I don't really know what it could be, but
Sanji
it could be the black flame.
White, maybe it could be like white or something, I don't know.
We almost forgot his joke though as well.
He's black leg.
Yeah, but
we almost forgot his joke that
like
Sanji can fight like Ivankov, like, you know, Sanji can fight like the Okama style as a trump card.
Yeah, I was about to say
fighting technique.
This is another spoiler, my theory I'm coming out with.
Spoiling it up right now.
I mean, honestly, it's not really a spoiler. I've already kind of covered this to some degree, but he had to fight different masters on the Okama Island who were like, I think there was like 9 of them, and he also compared like this whole training to Hell. He called it, you know, the Hell Memories was a representation of the training he had learned and the abilities. So maybe this was like Hell, and each of the different Okama masters could have been like a different layer of Hell for him. and he could have developed a new technique for each layer of hell, and that's where he could use different types of flames and such for each of the Okama masters that he beat. And even Kav was the ultimate flame.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool, but I just I mean if Sanji, so he's using Okama Kenpo.
Yeah, and he could have a different style maybe with each flame, like a different Okama
I was
style.
saying, but hopefully it's like Black Leg Kenpo or something, because I hope it doesn't go all the way,
Oh,
It could be a fusion.
Okay,
It could be a fusion, isn't it? Like a fusion of Okama and his normal kicking styles, like a mixed kind of attack.
Well, we know he's very passionate, and Okama Kenpo is very passionate, so maybe that'll be how his attacks work in the future.
Gay flames.
He
Gay flames.
emphasizes
man.
the passion and stuff. Like,
Also thinking that we're gonna get a hint to like a future power-up that we see in a flashback of him getting saved from the cage. You know what I mean? Like some type of technique like that, where he unlocks it as a child.
oh, maybe.
I still think that Raiju saved him and let him run away or something.
Oh yeah, I agree
Yeah,
too. But I still
quite
think that there
assistant.
might be something similar to that.
Well,
Maybe
I
because
mean,
of
if
his
he had a
Because
technique,
I was
like,
yeah.
if he developed something like kind of Vinsmoke technique, why didn't he use that maybe against like Zeph or whatever? Because remember he fought.
Well,
Zeph
he might
as a
not be
kid.
able. He might not know how to like awaken it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
No.
Like
In
kind of
the
how
last
Ace.
panel, the last panel, I was already expecting Sanji to do like Conqueror's Haki, like let me out, father, and he makes everybody around him faint, But it
Oh,
didn't
that would be
happen.
awesome if he had.
Yeah,
like,
I was
Conquer
hoping that
Sokka
gonna
since
happen. I was
So you use like
Because-
No,
conscious.
because
Oh wow,
I don't
that'd be
remember.
kinda cool.
I don't remember who said this, but it was in Brago's stream. They were talking about how, like, what if Sanji's like walking around the castle and he finds that like dungeon or whatever, and it awakes like
Yeah.
his memories, and like that like helps him come back to like that power up that he achieved as a child.
But yeah, and we were
He
talking
didn't lose
about
the
how.
memory, though. He didn't lose the memory.
Well, no, I know, but it's
Mhm.
still like just like one of the. I'm not saying that he.
Yeah,
like,
he
lost
suppressed
memory.
those. He kind of suppressed them, whereas like he kind of tried to forget.
I mean,
those,
overall,
things.
I want to point something out about Sanji. Like a lot of people were saying last chapter that Sanji was like weak, and they're like, why isn't he getting any good fights? Which is a good point because he's always been like handicapped in each fight that he's had, and it just makes him seem kind of like lame. But yeah, he did have the handcuffs on, right? So he couldn't really fight his brothers to the best degree, and even Niji was like, he knew Sanji was capable of escaping his grasp when he was about to use the sting, the electric sting. That's why he was like, yo, don't move. So I do believe he could be above. He probably is above Niji and stuff. He's just holding back. Oda keeps holding him back through the plot, basically.
Yeah, he did get a good. I don't know. It's hard to say if Sanji would have won against Niji if the whole Zeph thing didn't come up. You guys think he would have won or no?
I
No.
think it would have
He-
played out a lot better in Sanji's favor because we saw at
Yeah.
first he was kicking him in the face. Niji wasn't really able to dodge, and only when Ishiji came in and was like, "Yo, watch out, Zeph is gonna die if you keep moving," and then he kept getting like really distracted. He was like, "Oh no!" And then every time he got distracted, Niji would land a hit. So it was almost as if the hits Niji were landing were only because of the threats.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Sanji's in for a really big power up just because of the fact that if you think about his last like 4 or 5 fights, they're all just him losing, like making him look weak.
Well, I don't know if it would be a power up because, like I was saying, like he had to develop something against the Okama. So maybe it'll be old techniques he learned against the Okama. Maybe it'll be more of a Vinsmoke ability, like you were saying. I don't know. He hasn't once again shown any signs of developing an exoskeleton or any genetic factors. You could maybe consider Diable Jamba, but
Yeah, it's just for me, it's hard to believe that he didn't retain anything from the genetic mutation at all. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure I'll be awakened eventually because as a child, he didn't awaken. If he waited a few more years, maybe he would awaken afterwards if he pushed his body to the limit. And now he's at the limit where he's emotionally disturbed now, so he actually might release his true potential in this arc itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I think is gonna happen. That's what
He's
I think is
pissed. He's pissed, man. He's pissed. All these hell memories. This is worse now. This is
Oh,
reliving his horrible memories from young now, and not once he's spoken about it. Talking about the Okama is nothing compared to his childhood, and he's been getting these flames by thinking about the invisible fruit and Okamas. Imagine him thinking about what his family done to him. It's gonna bring out this rainbow spectrum flame.
That would be cool. No, Flying Pit, I really like that idea, though, you had about him awakening maybe Conqueror's Haki, because we know Ace, too, as a kid, awakened Conqueror's Haki, and he probably didn't use it until later on in life. So maybe it'll be the same with Sanji, where he awakened it as a kid, and then that has sort of increased his spirit, maybe, as he grew older, but he hasn't been able to fully master it. And maybe against the Okama, when they were chasing him and kind of like tackling him down. Maybe then he used it again, and that is where he learned to kind of use it. Maybe we know Zoro has shown signs of Conqueror's Haki when he fought like Monet. He like paralyzed her with fear, and he like overpowered her will.
Yeah.
So maybe Sanji has something similar that he used against the Okama to get away.
But don't forget, guys, Conqueror's Haki is quite rare. When we saw that in Marineford, when Luffy awakened his Haki, everybody was shocked. Even Garp was shocked.
Yeah.
So if Sanji was to do this, it would be like a wow moment. Even maybe if he does this, the Vinsmokes might even bow to him as a respect. Because I don't think the other Vinsmokes have unlocked Conqueror's Haki. Maybe even Judge hasn't. So if Sanji actually awakens Conqueror's Haki, it could be actually an immense moment where it might help him escape. Who knows?
Well, I definitely think that like Judge, for example, I feel like Judge does have Conqueror's Haki because he is a king in his own right, like we were saying before, and he had to have fought against all these people in the New World with Conqueror's Haki, for example, and like the North Blue and stuff. So, does he have it? I think probably. And Sanji could have been the only one to inherit it, maybe from him. So maybe Judge won't be that surprised if he does see Conqueror's Haki, but the others will, because they'll be like, "Why didn't we get this ability?" Maybe. That's obviously really that's really like going into the field of speculation, of course. But we do know that like Roger, for example.
That's our job.
Well, yeah, Roger, for example, he had 3 crewmates with Conqueror's Haki. We obviously think that he had it. Probably think it's obvious. I think it was confirmed. I think that he had it. And then Rayleigh had it, and then Shanks later grew up to be able to become a master of Haki. So even if you say it's rare for three people in the same crew to have Conqueror's Haki, it wasn't rare for Roger. He somehow managed to get three people in his crew with Conqueror's Haki. So very possible that.
But it's also
where he attracts the right people. You know, exactly. I don't think they just came to him; they just attracted towards him. He attracts people. He can read their potential, and that's why he's got the dream team of crew members.
Has to do with like the whole D thing and like the destiny and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say, like, it might not be like
even Buggy, even Buggy.
Yeah, it's probably not like a huge like 100% guaranteed concrete point to say that they will get it. But at the same time, like, would anyone complain if they did? And as we know before, it's not like outside of the realm of possibility, because we obviously know that that like Roger's crew had a lot of people with Conqueror's Haki. We obviously know that like a lot of people in the New World have it, and their crews are probably gonna have it as well. They're gonna almost need it to some degree, and I feel like if Sanji and Zoro were to awaken like a weaker than Luffy's version of Conqueror's Haki, or if they already have it, that would really like remove a lot of doubt about their strength and stuff. Because right now everyone's like, Sanji sucks. This could be the moment.
I'm thinking with like a high-end fights, if you don't have Conqueror's Haki, you're just gonna get shit stomped.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like really important.
So in the far future, like when Sanji's fighting like on Admiral level, for example, in the far future, and he's like Admiral level, he's gonna have to fight other people who are like Admiral level and have Conqueror's Haki and are like, because we know the New World is full of people with Conqueror's Haki. This was stated by Chinjiao, so they're gonna need it for at least the top 3 Monster 3, and maybe somebody else in the Straw Hats will get it to at least have a chance to even have.
Another thing I saw this chapter that made me start thinking was that I think that Sanji might actually. Or one of the reasons I thought that he would unlock his exoskeleton is because we saw Niji do that stealth move in this chapter, so I think it would be like good for Sanji's dream if he could like replicate the stealth move later on.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a thing.
His dream is like to get the invisibility fruit.
Yeah.
Not his dream, but.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. But then again, Rokushiki's shave is very similar. We saw like it had a very similar effect. Like that could be maybe his unique way of doing it, but yeah, it would be cool if he actually got the ability to cloak himself.
Yeah. Well, some people don't even think it's an actual cloak. I think it's an actual cloak. Rocco thought it was just like one of those things where it's like you just like go so fast that it looks like you're invisible. I don't think that's what it is.
But the thing is, he appeared like right behind him. It was like instant, I mean, it's. I think it's a cloak as well,
Yeah.
But,
I think he just went invisible. Maybe it only lasts for like 2 seconds or something, so you have to do it fast. Find them fast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, so we're about to be in the halfway point of the stream, so
That is the halfway point.
Yeah, we're at, because it's got to be under 2 hours.
Okay. Wait, isn't it over an hour already?
Oh yeah, it's over
an hour and a half.
It's like a little tiny bit. Let's see. hour and
Hour and a half.
hour and a minute actually. We're 1 minute over an hour. We had to end it like before 2 hours because otherwise I can't edit it or fix anything because YouTube doesn't allow you to edit it if it's over 2 hours. But I'm sure we're kind of getting tired anyway, so we might be.
Yeah, it's good timing.
I do want to see. Let's see. Theory. Hold on. Master J.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here, but they're not on the channel.
Yeah, they're not on the channel. Yeah. Okay, so Theory is here. What did he say? Did he say he's gonna hop in or?
Yeah, he said he's about to leave out. He came to say sorry.
So I have to go now.
Back to the tea party.
All right, it's cool, man. It's cool. Rogers Base not here. Joy Boy is not here. It is kind of empty, so I'm gonna try to add some people. To see, like, okay.
Yeah, but
wait, are you just doing the questions now in the chat, or are you just?
Yeah. Okay, we can probably add maybe like a few people if anybody with obviously like some kind of channel or just
I think
I don't want to add just like random people in the comment section, but if anybody that I know perhaps wants to join, like if I know you, then I'm willing to invite you. Like if Roger Joyboy, we just had Void King, but he can't talk.
Don't talk.
Wait, he can't figure it out. The thing.
I was expecting like everybody to be like, because everybody before like this week has been asking, "Yo, can I be in the stream?" So I was expecting like 20 people to message me today, like, "Yo, can I hop in?" And I was expecting it to be like jam packed. I was like, "Who am I gonna add?" But now it's kind of like little tiny bit empty in a way.
I think it's too early, to be honest. I think it's better if you do that like 6.
It's just the time zone difference because the first stream we had 2 people from the UK who wanted to join in, so we had to do it a little bit early with the time zone. But maybe in the future I'll change it up a little bit and maybe I'll have like different times each day. Like I wanted to keep it to Friday because that's the best day for me.
No, it's not a problem to actually do it later because now it's 7 in the evening now. So if you guys done it, let's say 5 in the afternoon, it would be roughly about 10 in the evening in our time.
Yeah, that'd be good for you.
So it's not an issue. I think, yeah, we done it this time because last time Trevor Tiger, he's got his classes and stuff. So if you guys made it later, even better for me because now it's 7, I'm starving.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. When Brago like texted or DM'd me and told me that the stream was up, I was sleeping. So.
Yeah, you guys were late with that whole Brago hangout thing.
So question time. We can ask some guys for questions and stuff.
Yeah, you guys want any questions answered? They gotta kind of be related to the Monster 3 in a way. Okay, here's a question from Bow Wow.
Bow Wow, little mama. My boy.
Others. Do you think that the Monster 3 is going to be Yonko level each? Do you guys think like Luffy's gonna have to be Pirate King level, right? That's like almost above Yonko level in a way. Do you think since the Monster 3 kind of trails behind Luffy, they will be like Yonko level? Like Rayleigh, obviously, his prime could have been Yonko level.
I would say so, just because of the fact that Yonko and Admiral level is pretty similar, and we all assume that Zoro and Sanji are going to have their matchups versus the Admirals later on in the series.
Yeah,
I agree.
But by saying that, we forget about the supernovas. If those two become the so-called new Yonkos, what about the supernovas?
Well,
we're talking about strength level alone.
I think in the middle of the series, the supernovas are obviously, or not obviously, but they're probably going to be all stronger than Zoro and Sanji. But we're talking about like end of series, like last 2 or 3 arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about this yesterday. As far as Sanji, as far as bounty, he wasn't a supernova. As far as strength, he definitely should have been a supernova. So I think Sanji's already on that level.
I feel like with the alliance with Law and maybe Kid in the future, they will stick with Luffy maybe for some time, maybe to take down like the current Yonko. I feel like Luffy's gonna get a lot of the territory. They may want territory as well, but then the problem, of course, is Blackbeard because Blackbeard's also getting a lot of territory, and how that's gonna work out with Kid and Law wanting to become Yonko and get territory. It's gonna be really difficult to plan out, and it may get overcomplicated in a way because we know Luffy's gonna have to have all the territory by the end of the series because the Pirate King has to have pretty much ownership or I don't know. He has to basically conquer the Grand Line, like Rayleigh said. Rayleigh said you have to conquer the Grand Line to become Pirate King. So you obviously, it's like the combination of all 4 Yonko is equal to Pirate King, right? So Luffy's gonna have to be basically equivalent to all the 4 Yonko in a way. Not in strength, but status. So he's gonna have to have a lot of the territory. And it's going to be hard with Law and Kid getting territory as well. So I'm not sure if they will become official Yonko or not. I think Blackbeard may remain as his main enemy, and Kaido and Big Mom will also be his big boundaries. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
That makes you think, though, doesn't it? That can Pirate King and Yonko coexist? Does Luffy have to literally...
No.
Luffy actually has to have every territory to become known as Pirate King, or does he need to find One Piece and defeat the big top dogs? That's it, really. Becomes the Pirate King. Is that enough? Does he have to own territory?
The way I see it is...
The way I...
Oh, sorry. Wow.
I was just gonna say that you're probably gonna say the same exact thing as me, but I think that like the 4 Yonko are like kind of like they're like divided up like the New World, but the Pirate King has control over the New World completely.
So what would happen, what happens in regards to the? I'm sorry about one word. I mean, like, what happens when Whitebeard was the same time as Gold Roger? Gold Roger becomes Pirate King. What happened to his territory? Did the Yonko specifically take each territory, or they already had that territory?
Well, it was stated that like Rayleigh said that Roger had conquered the Grand Line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like to some degree maybe Whitebeard had some like other territories, but I feel like for the most part Roger had to have owned most of the territories at most. Yeah, so
Roger or Whitebeard probably got his territories after Whitebeard or Roger died. Jesus.
Yeah.
So within the 22 years time period, he got territories.
Whitebeard was just trying to gather like a family. I don't think he was really after any territory. But after Roger like died and stuff, he had Whitebeard wanted to protect Fishman Island. Whitebeard wanted probably to have some kind of base of operations. Whitebeard also wants to. He's sort of like against corruption and stuff. It was stated that he is like the ultimate. He's struggling with the world government and the Navy with power because I think he's against I guess the morals of the world government and stuff. So to some degree, I feel like this was something, his territories were something he was forced into doing as a result of Roger's death, like you guys said. And as far as the supernovas go, because you did say like the supernovas are going to get a lot stronger, and they may be like the future Yonko, but I do feel like most of them will be like Yonko underlings, like Capone and stuff. I feel like a lot of them won't grow to be insane, like Yonko level. Obviously, Law and Kid are big candidates, but I also see like Roger had to have had an alliance outside his main crew because he was also just his crew alone couldn't have taken on like the world government, Garp and his crew, the Navy, all these powerful guys like Shiki and Whitebeard. So I feel like Roger had an alliance maybe. There's a lot of stuff we don't know about his crew and his like everything about him and stuff. So I feel like he did have an alliance at some point, like Luffy did. And Luffy, since he has Law and maybe in the future Kid as his allies, they formed an alliance. They could be his sort of his allies in the end war. Maybe not individual Yonkos. That would be a good way to put it.
I feel like there's gonna be after a few more arcs. I think that Big Mom, Shanks, and Kaido are all gonna die. I mean, I don't know. This is just my opinion, or captured. And then I think that there's gonna be like the second wave of Yonkos, and then that's when everyone's going to be fighting over Pirate King.
Yeah,
so it's going to be like Luffy is one. Yeah, Luffy's going to be like one of the Yonkos. Blackbeard's going to be one of the Yonkos, and maybe like Kid or someone else.
Yeah. It depends if Kid stays an enemy though, because if Law and Kid are Luffy's allies and they're Yonko, how is Luffy going to conquer the Grand Line? And when they have.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think Kid's going to be his ally though. I think he's gonna fight with him in Wano arc, but I don't think he's gonna like enjoy fighting with him. If that makes sense, it's gonna be like
that would make sense, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see maybe Blackbeard and maybe Kid as future. Well, Blackbeard's already a Yonko, but I feel like he will get more territory. I think he's gonna take out maybe Shanks. Like a lot of people have predicted. He may take out Kaido and get some of Kaido's territory. I feel like by the end of the series, nearing the end, we're going to have Luffy with tons of territory, Blackbeard with tons of territory. It's going to be the end of war, battle for Pirate King, because we know ultimately the only two people who have really, really made tons and tons of progress and have really put themselves toward being Pirate King and are also D's are Luffy and Blackbeard. So I feel like they got to be the ultimate two candidates that are left over to be Pirate King in the long run. So yeah, they're gonna probably have this territory split in the New World. Luffy's gonna have like Fishman Island under his protection because he wants to protect it. He's gonna have Wano Kuni so that he can protect their country from corruption, like the Shogun. He might have
Zo too.
Huh?
Zo.
Yeah, Zo. Well, Zo's kind of like not really that much of a territory, but maybe if if Zo just like dies and stays as an island, maybe it'll be like a standstill territory near Wano.
That would actually be funny.
Zo just dies of old age. It's like, oh, my back. Yeah, so Luffy will probably, a lot of the islands and territories he fights in right now in the New World will probably be his future territories. And then, yeah, he'll have Blackbeard, who Blackbeard has all of Whitebeard's territories, and then maybe some more from Big Mom or Kaido or Shanks. That'll be the ultimate battle of territory and army and military power.
Yeah, it would be hilarious though. Luffy owning the territories without wanting it, basically. So
yeah. The thing is, people always say like Luffy doesn't like to conquer, and I agree, he doesn't want to conquer, but he does. He did say he wants Fishman Island under his protection. He wants to raise the Straw Hat flag over it, so it will be his territory. It's just going to be kind of like the alliance he has formed, the Grand Fleet.
Yeah, he's not gonna like make them like pay him taxes or anything like that or some weird shit.
No, they'll let him just ask for food, basically. That's it.
Yeah.
He'd be like, yeah, give me some candy. It'll pick Big Mom.
No, I was hoping it would be like how he conquered the East Blue. He didn't conquer it like taking territories, but he defeated the strongest people. So unofficially, Luffy's conquered the East Blue. I was hoping it would be the same for the New World when he beats the Yonko. He literally takes their territory without actually intentionally to do it, but he has conquered them by defeating each of the Yonko. So I was hoping it would be like the East Blue saga. Defeat the strongest is yours. Well, officially being yours. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, obviously he's gonna put his flag over there to kind of make it official, I guess. But I don't think he'll come in with like his troops and like, have stationed troops in each territory. Maybe he'll have like in Wano he'll have the samurai as his like ambassadors and stuff. In Dressrosa he'll have like Rebecca kind of vouching for him as this is his territory in a way. We're protected by the Straw Hat flag, and that'll be like his way of conquering the Grand Line, like Rayleigh said, but not literally conquering it, like.
What about not taking territories, but more like we said before, the alliance, basically.
Yeah, it'll be an alliance. It'll be like equivalent exchange.
Yeah, so you can't take over his island. It's not belong to Luffy, but we work with Luffy. Our armies belong to you, and that kind of mentality.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Different. That'd be awesome. More than this is my territory, this is my flag. You guys are giving me meat every day or candy.
Yeah, obviously in the end war, Luffy's going to need a lot of troops, so I feel like Luffy will offer his protection to these islands in exchange for them supplying maybe troops for the end war against the Marines.
It'll be epic.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of troops because Oda said that this next war is going to make Marineford look like, a joke. It's going to overshadow it greatly.
Be amazing.
Yeah, there's going to be at least like 3 times the amount of soldiers, like the raw manpower alone, in Marineford.
It'd be crazy. Like Luffy's alliance is fighting the Marines, and all of a sudden, the Smile Fruit users of Kaido joins Luffy's crew to help out.
Oh, Kaido's crew.
The samurai comes. Yes, all the Smile Fruits will have no leader. They'll need to join Luffy. Yeah. Then the samurai will join Luffy. Then
the minks,
the Shogun comes.
The minks,
the Shogun
comes.
Yeah. It'll be epic. And then the Sky people, Skypiea people.
Oh, the Fishman, Alabasta, all of them, I think.
Brilliant. And the demon from the ground comes out or something, I don't know. Demon of the devil fruits come out or something, I don't know. Epic.
So yeah, this was we got a little bit off topic with the whole Monster 3 a lot, but I think it was a great discussion altogether. I don't think anybody's really gonna complain. Got a lot of likes on this videos. Only 5 dislikes. If you guys, if you dislike this video, can you please remove that dislike? I would really appreciate that. Get a perfect.
I'm sorry.
Yourself up to get disliked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should be disliking now.
Everybody, just remove your dislike, please.
Yeah, all my 5 accounts,
Okay, some guy asked, what are your thoughts on the fact that Zoro is going to Wano? Do you think he'll develop his abilities in the island of Samurai? Maybe a new legendary sword. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We didn't really cover that. What will Zoro achieve in Wano Kuni?
It's hard to say if he'll, I think he's gonna go up against one of the daimyo or whatever they're called, and then he's gonna lose. the first time, and then he's gonna come back and defeat him, and then he's gonna go up against the Shogun. I don't know if he's gonna defeat the Shogun because we can assume the Shogun's probably like top 5 swordsman in the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he defeats him, that kind of like puts him up there, like on strength level. There's not very many people left for him to fight in
Definitely.
terms of swordsmen.
I think even more of the, Zoro comes in, he finds out he's important, he's one of the founding, his clan is one of the founding people of the, of the Wano probably. Like,
Ryuma too,
I can't remember his name. Who was the other series called again?
Monsters.
Yeah, Monsters, and maybe the Monsters person is related to Zoro somehow, who knows? Or, yeah, Ryuma.
He has
So, because
Ryuma's
Sanji's,
sword.
yeah, exactly, and Sanji's got royalty blood in him. Luffy has some connections with the government, with Dragon, and Zoro is now his family is infamous for being a legendary samurai group or something, and makes the Muncie Free hyped up even more.
Yeah,
How
somebody
cool
did
would
a
it
theory
be
that.
if it was like Zoro and Killer versus the Shogun or something like that?
Oh yeah.
I think that would be an amazing fight.
Well, how I think that's gonna play out is like Zoro said that he is going to like be fighting to gather the samurai and stuff, like the good samurai. We also know that Frankie is with them. We have Robin, Frankie, I think, with them, and a few
I
others.
think Robin and Frankie are staying at Zo and like creating weapons or something. That's what he said.
Oh, really? I
He
thought
said that.
Frankie was going with Zoro.
Uh,
Law's going
I
with
don't
him
know.
too.
The way they explained it is really confusing because they said that like Frankie was gonna stay on Zo and like create weapons or something.
Well, yeah, he said he was
Stay
gonna create
with
weapons, but I thought he was going with Zoro still. Like I thought he was just gonna upgrade the 1000 Sunny or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Let me go back to the chapter. Just keep talking.
Yeah,
I'll figure
yeah,
it out.
Dark King said he forgot to dislike. Oh, wait, oh my God, we got 10 dislikes.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I told you not to say that.
Oh no, they're all disliking the
got
video
10.
now. Please stop.
Yo,
Oh, 11
Tiger's on.
dislikes. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. They're all disliking the video now.
You shouldn't said it, Reverse psychology, say that,
well.
they should dislike, and then, those
All right, guys.
likes.
Please don't like the video. Well, we got a lot of likes though to counterbalance it though too. We got like 40 dislikes.
No, we're doing quite
Or, I
well.
mean,
Last week we
40
had,
likes,
500 watching, and then it's about, 50 dislikes.
Yeah, that was because of the audio issues. It kept like cutting out.
Right.
Anyway, moving on to Zoro. I was about to say so Zoro is going to probably, while Luffy's fighting Big Mom, or maybe like trying to save Sanji from Big Mom, and while Sanji's whole family thing is going on, we already have like a week past with the whole Big Mom ordeal. So Zoro is probably already at Wano maybe right now, and we're gonna get to see like maybe a flashback of what happened while Zoro was on Wano. I don't know if it was stated how long it takes to get to Wano. I have to fact check that, but I feel like Zoro will have his own independent little training arc to kind of build up his character during this arc, because right now the only Straw Hat that has been built up is Luffy. Luffy's the only one who has gotten Gear 4th. He's gotten King Kong gun. He might reveal something else now. Sanji's going to reveal some new powers during the Germa arc right now, and Zoro is going to upgrade during the Wano Kuni, get some new swords maybe. Get a legendary sword. Maybe he'll beat the Shogun and get maybe like a sword and stuff like that.
Really cool.
Yeah,
Unless the Shogun's massive. If the Shogun's a giant, then it's a different story, isn't it? Hopefully Shogun's a little guy with a little sword that Zoro can take. If the Shogun's the same height as Kaido or something.
No, I think the Shogun has to be
sword.
like, if he has a gigantic greatsword, that would kind of go against the whole samurai thing, because samurais have like katanas. They're very slim swords.
Yeah, that's true. What if the Shogun also uses 3-sword style?
He's like, yo, you copied my style, dude.
Oh, that actually might be possible.
What if the Shogun is like Zoro's dad or something, and he gets there, and the Shogun's like, yeah, like he has 3-sword style, and he's like exactly like Zoro. Oh, that
if
would
it's Zoro
actually...
dad, if it's Zoro dad, they can't find each other. They'll both be lost, isn't it? They'll be just going around Wano looking for each other.
I don't know. It would feel, it would. Oh yeah, it gets lost. I don't know.
Like,
it would
where
feel
you
kinda
son? I don't
cliched.
know.
It kind of feels cliched at this point, because like now it's just being revealed left and right that each of the Straw Hats have like a famous family member. I don't know. It might be cool if Zoro has like maybe no real family connected to him. I don't know. But yeah,
it would
definitely.
ruin Zoro's character if he didn't have like a great like.
Yeah, if they're like, oh, his dad was the best swordsman of all time, it's gonna be like, okay, so he just inherited that power, really?
No, well, maybe not like that, but like he was like someone special
Oh, yeah, maybe.
and like important.
Well, I can understand maybe if Ryuma was like his great-great-grandfather or something, and then but like his family beyond that wasn't that great, maybe just like I don't know, inherited will.
There must be a reason though, because Zoro always wanted to be the strongest. Then
Well, Ryuma
there
looks
must be a
exactly
reason that
like Zoro,
pushed him.
like
Mm.
in some ways. If you look at monsters, Ryuma's like pretty much the same template for Zoro, like as far as the facial features go. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen already, Monsters, go check out Monsters. Ryuma the zombie from Thriller Bark, he was based off of Ryuma from Monsters, which was a series that Oda made as well. It was about samurai and slaying dragons and stuff. But yeah, Ryuma looked a lot like Zoro. Pretty much the facial features are like identical. So very
That's why I
possible.
talk about the dragon horn. That's why I talk about the dragon horn. That dragon horn can control dragons. Hopefully they put a dragon horn in One Piece as well, controlling dragons. It'd be
Yeah, we
amazing.
also know that Vegapunk and like Caesar are doing a lot of dragon research too. So maybe Kaido has been gathering dragons for the whole smile operation to give Kaido like dragon smile and stuff. Maybe I don't know.
That'd be decent. Cool.
But as far as Zoro and Wano, new abilities
should be
gained from
the-
Wano. Maybe he will
yeah.
mimic the swordsman in Wano, like their
I
fighting
don't
style.
think
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
He's
more like
probably
getting
gonna
stronger. Getting stronger.
Probably gonna learn the elemental,
Elemental.
cutting technique.
Definitely
because he
elemental
learned,
techniques.
he learned the strongest moves from Hawkeye already. So, like Rob said, if he goes to Wano, maybe learn the elemental techniques of cutting elements. That's
Yeah,
what I
I
think
mean-
will sound great, basically.
He could already cut
wonder
with
why-
elements though, so it's not too far off because remember he was fighting against Ryuma and he ignited the wound of Ryuma. It set him on fire and Ryuma literally disintegrated.
I wonder if the cutting elements has something to do with your sword, or if it has to do with like it's like an actual technique. if that-
It's a technique because remember he was like it was a technique of him because when he was fighting he was about to clash with Ryuma, and then he was like I don't remember the move. It was something dragon, blue flaming dragon or something, and then a dragon appeared behind him to sort of represent his spiritual aura or whatever his technique, and then his sword sort of like was surrounded by the dragon's aura, and then he sliced Ryuma, and then Ryuma became like a bright blue sort of blaze.
Flame, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he just ignited into a bluish white kind of blaze and just disintegrated. So in a way, he has already somewhat mastered fire style or whatever.
I don't know about that. I think that might have been something else because he seemed very surprised at Kinemon being able to cut fire, and like it seemed like he wanted
Yeah, I don't
to
think
learn
he's
it. I don't
mastered
remember.
it.
Yeah,
I don't think he's. I
agree
think
with
that was just an early version, and when he saw Kimano,
It seemed like
Kimano
something
did it.
he's never even seen before. I don't
already-
know. I'd have
it's
to
already-
read the panels
Yeah,
again, but
definitely. It's already been
Well,
foreshadowed anyway.
He said
in
he's
the,
always
in-
wanted a fire sword or whatever.
Exactly. Yes. And we've seen that in the Cake Island when he's in that prehistoric island when he was in flames and he cut Mr. Free as well. I think it's already foreshadowed that he will get a fire enhanced weapon somehow.
Yeah. It's hard to say if that was like a legitimate Wano technique. But yeah, as far as Zoro's techniques go, it seems like he has really developed this strange style. Like you remember the gorilla technique where he buffed his arms up, amplified his strength and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These techniques seem to be like they actually affect his body and they're beyond normal human capabilities in a way. So maybe he has inherited some kind of swordsman will. They could be a result of his swords, like actually having giving him abilities, and ultimately maybe he just will develop. Maybe he'll mimic a lot of the swordsmen on Wano, and they will have like their own spiritual abilities, like how Zoro has the the tornado, and he has the flaming dragon, and he has like Ashura. Maybe all these other swordsmen will have like their own specific spiritual fighting spirit type abilities, and he will mimic them in a way or learn from them. Then again, it does kind of take away a little bit from his training, his 2-year training. Is Froob there?
sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. I like spaced out. What happened?
Yeah, okay.
I was reading something.
Actually, coming back to that Zoro free swords technique where his father will have it, I doubt his father will have the free swords technique. The reason why Zoro developed the free sword technique, he wanted to beat Kuno so badly. He took so many swords that could fit into his hands and his mouth. Basically, it became his own technique.
Well, I don't think
So I
he
doubt
didn't know
he's
he didn't know her strength at the time. He was just like he walked in, he was like, who do I fight? And then she appeared, and he was just like, okay, and he grabbed like a bunch of swords. But that could have just been like something inherent within him. So in a way, you could make the argument that if it is inherited will or something, and it's gonna be some big gag that his dad has like 3 swords or something, he could have inherited it from like his dad, maybe, I don't know, or if I don't know. It's very, very wild to say.
I like
that,
to think that there is another swordsman out there that also has the 3-sword style, like him.
Yeah, there probably is somebody. Oh well, we do have like Hachi with the 8 swords.
Well, yeah, but all the people who had multiple swords are usually because they have like multiple arms. They don't really use the same technique, like where they have one of the swords in his mouth.
Kaku had 2, and Vista has 2, isn't it?
Like, wasn't there a dude that had like a bunch of swords? There was like swords between his legs and stuff like that. I forget.
That was Killer B from Naruto.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Getting
God.
my series confused here.
Wow. Even I was thinking about it now. Who was it?
Do you guys ever think that like the Monster 3, if maybe if Jimbei doesn't join or something, maybe Usopp will become part of like the Monster 4 in a way, if he becomes like super because we know that he's the 4th person to develop Haki in the Straw Hats. Like he's special in a way, and maybe in the future, I know he's not the physically strongest. It was stated that he will never be the physically strongest, but in a way, he could become like the spiritually and tactfully strongest of the Straw Hats, and he could be like top 4 in the future. That's always a possibility to kind of maybe like, I don't know. I don't know if Jimbei would join because that would also disrupt the Monster Trio in a way, because we don't know if he's stronger than Sanji. If he is stronger than Sanji, then it would sort of like put Sanji 4th, which would be in a way changing stuff too much.
I think that once we get to Wano, that we'll all be on the same level, if not stronger than Jimbei.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so. I hope Sanji is strong. I hope Jinbei is like the 4th strongest of the Straw Hats, at least, because
if you think about it, like Jimbei is kind of old now. Like he can obviously still get stronger, but he can't get like he doesn't have as much potential as Sanji and Zoro have, and Luffy. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Jinbei,
Yeah,
I think that's the thing I don't know about him joining is because he seems like an old man or almost like a mom or granny. He kind of like babies Luffy, and it's like, yo, he's like, don't do this, Luffy, it's bad for you. And he'll like beat him up and stuff in Fishman Island if he doesn't do what he wants and stuff. And I don't know, it feels like he's too controlling a little bit. I can understand maybe him being an advisor, but in a way, he's sort of like an old man. He kind of like knows everything in the New World already. Like he's already seen it all. Like what's he gonna learn by being with the Straw Hats? So
the question is, why do we like Jinbei for? Is it because he's a fisherman, or is it because he does fisherman karate? If that's the case, if he was a fisherman with no fisherman karate, do we still like him? His character design's not that unique as well. Like, for example, Koala, she's amazing. She can do fisherman techniques. She's a girl with big breasts. She's a more a potential Straw Hat than bloody Jinbei, who just bloody punches water all day with his bloody spit.
Well,
all
Jinbei
day.
can also control sea life. He can remember
I think people dump.
So can Chopper. Chopper can speak to sea life as well, isn't it? So
I think people downplay Jinbei's character. I think he'd be a really good. fit for
Jinbei is
Straw
very
Hats.
strong. Like he can control the
he's too
sea.
strong.
He can control sea life and stuff like that.
Not even just strength. I'm just talking about like his character, like his personality and all that stuff. I think he'd be good.
Yeah, he's very like, that's what I'm saying. Like he was very helpful to Luffy during Impel Down. He was very motivational and stuff like that. But in a way, I feel like him kind of knowing everything already, being like a know-it-all, it kind of ruins the Straw Hats. Like the Straw Hats don't know what to do right now. They're like trapped. They're like, what do we do? Where do we go? We gotta find the road poneglyphs. If Jinbei came in, he'd just be like, oh yeah, let's go here for the road poneglyph. Okay, let's hunt down. Let's hunt
Yeah,
down
I know
Kaido.
what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Very
It's
true.
possible, but I don't think that it's going to be like that because I think now that we're getting deeper into the New World, there's going to be a lot less stuff that he doesn't know about. Like, and Oda can still write it into the fact where like Jinbei doesn't tell them everything. Like, okay, say Jinbei knows what Kaido's devil fruit is. Jinbei doesn't just have to tell the Straw Hat crew. We can still find out on our own, like through like Oda's storytelling. You know what I mean?
And there's the thing too, like,
So we got Robin for that, haven't we?
if
Got
he's
Robin
gonna
telling the
join, like,
stories
it
and
was sort of
stuff.
like with Vivi. Vivi said Vivi was kind of like gonna join and stuff like that. Then at last minute, she kind of bailed. So I wonder if Jinbei will be the same because maybe he'll be like with Big Mom and stuff like that, and then something else will come up that will keep him from joining. I don't know. I kind of do in a way hope he joins, but I'm just not sure if it would cause a lot of problems, like disrupting the strength tiering between the Monster 3. Would he be stronger than Sanji? Like, is he going to be like...
But the question is, do we need a new Nakama at the moment? Does he bring anything to the story at the moment?
Yeah, it feels
But
like
what
that
do you
too.
mean, in terms of like strength, or in terms of like character, or like?
The character development, everything. What can he bring to? Because we have so many characters already. We hardly seeing any of the other characters doing much anyway. Hence
Yeah.
why we're doing this split at the moment. What would Jinbei do? Would he just control the ship the whole day, and then what jokes would he make? You know?
Yeah,
It's-
what's his dream too? Like, he wants to unite the fishmen too. I guess that could be his dream. With the humans and
every
stuff.
fisherman, yeah, same as every fisherman.
Yeah, I guess he could achieve that by like the whole One Piece theory, where like it unites the planet and world peace and stuff. But would Jimbei would that be his dream? And what would be his role really? Is he an advisor? I guess, I mean, he is very strong, so his strength would obviously be an asset, and him being able to control sea life and stuff, that's very helpful, and being able to control
Guys,
water.
in Fishman Island, it was perfect to join that time. In Fishman Island, if he joined, I would love it. But it's been almost been 2 years now. It's not relevant to the story no more. After seeing Gear 4, seeing Sanji's story,
Well,
but that he's just powered up now. We want something more better.
Oh.
Things like Carrot, even she's more interesting than Jinbei at the
Yo,
moment, with more potential as well.
Lelouch Zero, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Finally, goddamn.
Are you, wait, which one are you?
I'm Void King from this.
Oh, Void King, okay,
Hey,
yeah, I
Void.
figured.
Okay.
Hey, Void.
Here.
Alright, got
All
anything you want to add maybe to the Jinbei discussion? We're talking about Jinbei.
Well, I was about the Vinsmokes though. The you guys noticed.
What? What about the Vinsmokes?
You know how Sanji uses fire?
Yeah.
And how Niji uses electricity?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the other three use like wind, water, or earth.
Yeah.
The,
I'm doing like I'm actually doing a video like after the stream right now to sort of cover all that. I do feel like Yonji is going to use wind maybe, because each of their name represents an element too. Like Ishiji is sparkling
Think
red.
about Captain. I know you guys seen Captain Planet, wind, water, fire, earth, combined together, Captain Planet. You know.
Oh, well, you know, someone has heart.
Oh yeah, heart. Ah yeah, you've seen it, top man.
That's not Niji.
Oh, maybe Sanji's heart.
Sanji's heart. You know.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
His heart burns with fire.
There you go.
Blood in his nose.
Yeah. What would Sanji like? What would his name be? Because he's like Devil Orange, like
He'll be Black Lake Sanji.
Black.
Also,
But like as a kid, why would he be named that as a kid? Was it ever revealed his name like as a kid? Because each of them had a name given as a kid, I think.
You reckon? I thought they get a name after when they,
Oh,
establish
true.
himself
Yeah, true.
afterwards. You're like, after seeing him fighting, it goes, oh, that's the Wind or Garuda, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so, kind of thing. All right, guys. Sorry about. I had to leave you guys at the first
Yeah.
before everybody else. So
Actually,
I do apologize. So
Um,
thanks for this stream, guys. I actually enjoyed it. And yes, guys, click like and subscribe to OneWorldHD. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see ya. Yeah, we will.
I have to
Fruit,
get
are you
off
still there?
Yeah.
We'll give some
Wow.
closing remarks. Maybe just a couple, one or two more questions. Maybe we'll just answer them real quick.
My mic keep cutting out.
Okay, yeah, the stream's like we're already almost at 1 minute and 30 seconds, so we should finish up a little bit because I want to be under 2 hours, and a lot of people have left as well. But yeah,
Remember the whole theory about back in the day when it was like Killer's Sanji's brother?
Yeah.
But what if like Killer wasn't what if like Killer was like Judge's first biological son, and like after he like ran away for some reason, he's like, why not clone and then like make 5 children?
Yeah, he could represent
I
Wind.
still feel like Killer is somehow connected to the Vinsmokes in some way. I know it's just kind of like stretching at this point because it kind of is confirmed that he's not, but I think that he's either like maybe he's the legitimate son of Judge, and yeah, or maybe even he's like because Judge said that the 5 were his greatest experiments or whatever, his greatest creation. So maybe he had some before, like Killer, that weren't like perfect.
And think about it, Killer's hair after the after the time skip looks a lot like Judge's hair. Like
Yeah.
it's like all huge in the back. It's like flowing down his.
Yeah, it does
And
seem
also,
really
yeah.
weird with Killer. Like, he's got to have some maybe connection at least.
And like, what if like Killer's face isn't like? What's the reason why he ran away was 'cause, like his father abused him, like beat him up,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah, he could be
and,
like because we know
having scars of his childhood.
Judge had a wife, and we don't know what happened to her. He was Sanji's mom, and yeah, she was Sanji's mom, but we don't know what happened with like anything before that. Maybe when he was doing the whole research project with Vegapunk, the whole research team, he had another wife or something, and that's where Killer came in, and Killer was like the first experiment or something, and then Killer ran away. I don't know. It's it's definitely like Rup said, it's kind of stretching at this point, but just the way he looks, the technology he uses, and his mask and the blonde hair. His name is Killer, just like the Vinsmoke Killers. It's like it's there. There's some connection.
It's almost like Oda put him in the series just to like fuck with our heads and like make us think that he's related to them.
Red herring.
And for a killer, like the name Killer,
Your mic cut out.
Yeah.
All right. You want to take some more questions from the chat or what?
Yeah. Here let's see. I'll probably take one question or so. Is someone talking about the Vinsmoke? Is that me? Yeah, Tubecky. Tubeki's got like his own whole Vinsmoke idea going on with the whole elements as well. He made one a while back, and he kind of predicted that they could use the elements.
I'm still hard on that theory that Crocodile was a Vinsmoke like operative, like maybe not son of like Judge, but like part of the Vinsmoke like family and their ranks.
Could have been maybe like he could have been on the mother's side or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yo, what if it was mother? Because like he did look like a bit feminine when he was as a child.
Wait, Killer is Sanji's mom? What?
Crocodile, I said.
Oh, Crocodile.
No secret. I don't know.
It's very The thing is, like, all these old characters now are coming to sort of they're all connecting into this newer stuff. So like, it feels like we definitely know a couple of characters like Crocodile, maybe Ivankov, like Kuraha. Now that we know this research team existed, we know they're gonna probably come back at some point and maybe be seen as part of this whole thing. Because right now it's like the Sanji thing, the whole royalty thing. It's just stuff that happened a long time ago that's coming to play right now, like way later on.
Yeah, like Oda is like the genius to like take characters we almost forgot about and I say, oh yeah, that's relevant. Like Lola, like who's heard of Lola for the past like couple of years? And it's like, oh yeah, she's back and she's our big mom.
Yeah, Lola came back too. All of these little connections, like people will be like, yo, theories are dumb because like all these connections don't make sense. But then at the same time, a lot of them are true and a lot of them end up becoming true because there's just so much foreshadowing, and Oda does sort of follow through with a lot of the foreshadowing he provides. Like Ace's death was even foreshadowed. Remember the whole like.
One of the craziest foreshadowing like predictions that I've ever seen was the like before Sanji was before he was revealed that he was a Vinsmoke, they showed that panel where it was like back in Grand Line where he was talking about how he's from the east or he's from the North Blue or whatever, and they used that exact same panel when revealing.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen for a lot of the theories, like a lot of the foreshadowing based theories. We're gonna have one panel where like somebody builds a whole theory off that, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, this panel means a lot," and people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's kind of dumb. That's just one panel." But then that one panel will play like a huge part in the overall end result.
And soon enough we'll be going off like panel.
Your mic got off again.
Yeah, your mic keeps cutting off. Brago, what's up, dude?
His mic's.
You guys talking about?
No, here's the thing. On Skype, it's like perfectly fine, but here it's like you can use it. But yeah, like it, let's say if like this is one panel foreshadows a panel like interceptor, but like it's like the same panel like fourth one down from the right, like it's the same panel placement. That I don't know.
You guys just taking questions or just?
We're about to
We've
end
been
it.
kind of general discussion a little bit, but yeah, we're talking about Killer and could he still be connected to the Vinsmokes? Could he have been like Judge's sort of
First son.
I still think so.
Yeah, like could he have been like before Judge got with this one girl where he created the current Vinsmokes? Could he have gotten with somebody else? Maybe in the research
Yeah,
team.
you saw
and
how
created Killer.
saw how
Killer's
his
Jon
ex-
Snow.
you saw his exoskeleton develop post time skip though.
Killer.
Shit is crazy.
You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about how like Killer is like super buff.
Oh yeah.
But then it's kind of like it kind of was messed up too. He was kind of like a dud because remember, if you look at his left arm, it's kind of like messed up in a way.
Well, yeah. If you notice as well, like
Weird.
each of the Vinsmokes, like we have the green, winch green Yonji. He could be like
Like,
I think some people were
green
saying
one.
Earth. Yeah, Earth agree. But we don't have like a white like white wind
Yo.
or something. So maybe Killer could have been that hidden like white wind.
That I've been thinking about since the cloning was like revealed. How far could cloning like go in copying things? Like could it copy fruit powers? Could it copy Haki? Could it copy like skills that the person had?
Oh, I think that copying fruit powers is what like the clone, like the Vinsmoke clones are. I think that because I was gonna say this earlier, but my internet randomly came out. But you guys were talking about how you think that children have like random like animals like infused with their DNA. I think it's more closer to like devil fruit powers than like actual animals.
Well, devil fruits also involve lineage factors. You got to remember the law stated that Vegapunk had discovered that devil fruits use lineage factors to like change your body and stuff as well.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking that has something to do with that.
That person's
Because we already know that Caesar has like a lower form of that with the smile fruits and everything. So I'm thinking that Judge just understands it on a higher level than Caesar does.
Well, yeah. Basically, what Smile is, it's like incomplete because it only modifies your DNA and molecular like structure and stuff. But the thing is, like, it's unlike a real zone because zones allow you to grow. For example, Chopper can grow into Monster Point. He can grow into like a human point. But like Momonosuke, he has an artificial zone, but he cannot grow. He turns into a small dragon that simply morphs his body. Like the currently existing matter in his body can only morph into the dragon. He cannot grow like Chopper or Lucci does in a hybrid form. So it doesn't have that spiritual aspect. Like, the whole... basically, yeah, there's devils inside fruits. So I feel like that's what allows for the more supernatural stuff to take place.
That's some deep shit.
So you're saying like if Momo had eaten the dragon fruit, he would have like more forms than he has now. Then like
he'd be able to get bigger and things like that.
Well,
when he gets in it.
I just came up with something interesting. What if Big Mom were to put like a soul into a smile? Would that complete it? Because we know there's spirits inside devil fruits.
I think like unless you took a spirit from a fruit and give it a smile, then it would probably become complete. But like a human would just a human soul wouldn't like do anything to it.
Well, let's just say the human soul was very powerful, like let's just say it was Kaido's spirit with like all his Haki and stuff. I don't know. It would be
I wonder, like, could you make like someone? It's like a fruit that instead of having powers, transfers power from one person to another person. Like, if I ate the Kaido fruit, I become like Kaido, and not like everybody else.
Because we know her spirit power cannot work by just putting the soul into a person, but maybe like how the devil fruit explanation is, it stays in your stomach. Maybe the spirit, because we know devil fruit spirits like stay like in your stomach maybe, and they just kind of give you powers. They leech off you and give you powers. So it's interesting.
Souls from people, maybe transfer souls to fruits, and the person eats the fruit, and then that's how it should.
Yeah, it could relate to how devil fruits were originally created, because it was stated that they were created by the Sea Devil, who was apparently either a person or.
If the soul fruit could create devil fruits, then it's kind of like the ultimate fruit, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like create more of itself.
Darkness fruit can like pull out the devil, and
I just made a theory about Blackbeard having two fruits, and one fruit was the soul fruit, and never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I made something kind of like that where I said like he could have like a zone that allows you to pull spirits out of people.
Yeah.
And
I also still think like Blackbeard's fruit is awakened, and basically his badass belly is a black hole that which he went. All right. So normally you explode if you eat two fruits. What if if it's a black hole inside him, it'll explode, but like not kill him because it'll suck it up into the black hole.
Nah, because then you can say Luffy won't explode because he's made of rubber. No, he can stretch.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's true. He can explode. It's impossible. He won't explode because it'll blow up.
No, but also it was explained that Blackbeard, his whole it was said that his body is very weird, and that this was before he got the darkness fruit. Because Marco didn't see him with the darkness fruit. He's only known about Blackbeard before the darkness fruit, and he said his body has always been weird. So it has something to do with his body, like it was modified somehow to be able to absorb 2 devil fruits. It's more physical, in other words.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's see.
Warrior was killed for his devil fruit.
Ty.
I was thinking,
Why do you keep talking about Ty? Ty's not here. Is he?
I was thinking, like, what if like Big Mom took a spirit out of a fruit, gave it to someone? Could they then eat a fruit themselves and still not die, or is that like it's not gonna work?
Oh, probably not, because the devil fruit thing has to do with spirits mainly. Even if she could do that, I think they would still die because it has to do with like the multiple spirit things.
Oh yeah. At first, I was like, Jobbers, I'm talking this dumb shit, like, but it's kind of true. Like, you not talking the truth.
What if like the reason you can't eat 2 devil fruits is because you need to have like a really strong will or something like that? Like you have to have like, because like the spirits will overpower you or something like that. So that's why Blackbeard can have 2 fruits, because he can.
What if Awakening requires you to use Conqueror's Haki on the devil inside you to make it that means like.
Oh, bow down to
like,
you or something?
Yeah, under control.
Well, that would basically be saying that the Impel Down Zone guards would all have Conqueror's Haki.
Well, they do. You never know. They're
They could
strong.
have all 4 of them? Maybe, but I don't know, man. They weren't knocking people out.
So, like, you know, like Crocodile.
It might be possible. Maybe it's a way to do it easier, but yeah.
Like basically all the people who've had Awakening devil fruits have been who probably will have Conqueror's Haki, like Crocodile or Doflamingo or Whitebeard. They would have.
Yeah, Doflamingo. Maybe I don't know about Crocodile.
Crocodile said he masters his food to the highest degree.
Well, he perfected it, but we don't know if he has Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah, One World, I gotta go.
All right. I'm gonna wrap up the stream, I think, because we are running out of time. Thank you everybody for joining us today. This stream wasn't as full as I had anticipated. I was expecting like a lot of people to be here, so it's good that we got some chill discussion. And
it's been a lot more fun if I can put my mic out beforehand, but
yeah.
People gonna hit you up later, be like, "Yo, you still doing that stream?"
Oh yeah, people are gonna like message me after and they'll be like, "Oh yo, why didn't you invite me, dude? Like what?
Why didn't you invite me, bro?" Like,
Yeah. All right. If you want to know who was in the stream, once again, the links are going to be in the description. I will try to put everybody who was in the stream. I'm pretty sure I have mostly everybody right now. But, yeah. We will have another stream maybe Friday if I'm not busy. But I shouldn't be that busy Friday. So,
dope.
Check us out
Thanks
next
for having
time.
me, bro.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Frago. Thank you, Soul King, right?
no.
Void King.
Void King, my bad.
Soul King.
You bleach on your mind.
All right. I will see you all later.